So I just got back from shooting with a new lens, a 25 millimeter lens. And
okay, I'm going to Olympus website.
It's an Olympus 25 millimeter.
Okay, hold on. I got to get over here. I'm not used to where's their lenses?
1 to
binocular audio camera.
1.8 crop.
What the hell?
It's that second one.
Olympus, what is it? It's a 20 what?
25 millimeter.
25 millimeter, 1.8?
Yes, sir.
Well, it may be fixed at 1.8 then.
I don't know. Hey, Mark. Hey, Mitch. Mitch, I went out and was shooting with this 25 millimeter lens today. Don't know if it was me or what, but you know what? Mitch might have something to say on this, on the humidity.
Yeah, well, the other thing too is when you get a wide open lens like a 1.8, everything's got to be dead nuts on, because you've got such a wide aperture opening at 1.8. I mean, you talk about a lens when you're talking a lens and you're shooting in broad daylight, you got it down with a 16. You may have needed a 32 with that 1.8 aperture opening.
Hello, Arthur.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Colorado.
Stop sending us that smoke.
Hey, Mel. Evening, Mel.
Hello, Mel.
Mel can't hear us?
I absolutely can. Hello, guys.
Okay. So I went out. I took the 15 millimeter off the Micro Four Thirds camera because I cannot get any wide enough shots. But I had to put a 16 on it, ND filter, because it wanted it for two reasons. It wanted it also for the balancing. But I just got back. Some guy just spent an hour of my time chin wagging. He stopped because he does real estate shooting.
Yeah.
And you see the background in this? How hazy that is?
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about. Now, once you get away from, because the sun was out in the east, once you get away from that, it looks a hell of a lot clearer. And this is in 4K, and it's coming up crappy here. But this is where the interstate exit is.
Nice.
This is a whole new development going in that one tiny area. We haven't even hit the interstate exit yet. Now, but I was wondering why it was so different. Like, if we go to, let's take one more. See, like this one on my screen is a hell of a lot clearer. I'm wondering if it's the humidity is what I'm asking you guys. You see up in the back of the trees there, up top?
Yeah.
Well, are you seeing that on your screen or just on the?
I'm seeing it on my screen too, on the computer screen.
Okay.
With a lot better clarity, but I'm still seeing it.
What time of day was it?
5 p.m. To
Okay.
us, the sun doesn't go down till 8.
Right. So keep in mind that even though you get quite often just before sunset, you get the golden hour, right? You get the nice color.
Right.
The reason you get that color is because of all the crap in the atmosphere. So keep in mind that 2 and 3 hours prior to that, all the crap in the atmosphere is still there.
Right.
It's still going to show up, and that's where you're getting your haze from. It's the angle of the light versus the angle of your camera. And that's why when you change angles and look at it from a different angle with the lens, that's why the haze looks different, less or more, because you're getting more or less light coming through it. You see what I mean? Does that make sense? That's where you're getting that.
And don't you agree with this too, Mel? Is using a lens with such a wide open aperture, f1.8, he may have needed to go to even like a 32 at that time of day, because he's got so much sunlight there in order to settle it down, because that lens is such wide open.
There's no way to guess that, Steve, because the shutter speed is what determines that.
Well, he had it at he had it at
f4. F4 ISO 100.
Okay, and what shutter speed though?
I don't remember the shutter speed.
That makes a difference.
It's usually 120.
Okay, then so you're shooting 60 frames a second?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I had it at. I guess this is an okay example. When you look at the tree line, you can see that.
Yeah. Now
I didn't have an 8 with me, so I had to use the 16.
You may have needed a 32 or a 24, but I
was afraid at that time of day. I really was.
Yeah, and see that's the problem when you've only got this amount of light for a few minutes, and you've only got a few minutes to decide and put your combination together and make your shot. And sometimes you hit it and sometimes you miss it. But you can make a 24 also, right?
24 what?
ND filter.
ND24.
Put your 8 over your 16.
I've never stacked them. No.
That'll give you the equivalent of a 24. Try
that
sometime too.
Or having a variable that helps.
But yeah,
I don't use PLs either.
No,
I don't use the polarized. No. Well, would that have helped in this situation?
No.
Not likely, because polarizing is usually better for shooting over water and stuff, and reflections.
Yeah, the glare
like
off the windshield.
Glare, yeah, exactly. So, the only thing that would help that is this right here. Change your angle so you're not getting that horizon in the shot. Okay.
Right. You see how that sun is shining on the road?
Yeah.
Because I'm about half hour from sunset. It looks like.
And also the other thing is, you remember I said sun angle versus camera angle? See, now your camera is pointing the same direction as the sun is shining. So you're not lighting up that haze as much. If you was to turn 180 degrees right now, you'd get blown out with the haze.
Right.
Because the sunlight would be coming into it.
Yeah, I got my back to it, right.
Yeah, see here you're not seeing it near as much because
he's actually pointing away from it.
Yeah.
Yes.
His back's to it now.
Right now it's dead behind him because you can see the shadow on that power pole. But so always try to keep that in mind, Jim. And that's what you use the lighting for. The natural lighting is always at your back as much as you can as possible.
Amen.
I was surrounded by these. There's a cell tower right there, and then all these power lines wrap around me.
Yeah.
So
unless you're between them and the ground, power lines really shouldn't give you much trouble.
I was using the RTK, so it wasn't a problem.
And the only time they'll give you a lot of trouble if you're between them and the ground is if you're in a area that has a lot of minerals in the soil. You might get some magnetic interference on your compass if the power lines are high voltage. But
these are all activated.
Yeah, but they're
running lines.
They're like 240 though. They're not like the 570 or the 780s.
I have
So-
no clue because they're lighting up the interstate exit.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
overnight lights.
But look at how close together they are and stuff.
That's
Yeah,
not
'cause
that's not that high a voltage.
If
They
those
run
were-
to the neighborhood.
yeah.
There's a neighborhood back there called Deer Run. But anyway,
That could
This
be
is the-
4160.
this was all in the middle of. This was all cow fields. And
Hello,
these are-
everybody in chat. Bob, Ron.
Hey, Bill. Moving the guest cams around yet? It's supposed to be a new feature. You can order the guest cams now. Really? I did not know that.
What's that?
Bill, Coast to Coast Drone, says try moving the guest cams around. It's supposed to be a new feature. Anybody know what that means?
That means you can change the location, like put me at the top, put Steve at the bottom, put Dan at the top, whatever. I think that's what he's talking about.
Mark says move them guest cams. Let's okay. What?
I
I'm
say
looking
put Dan at the top. Hello, Dan.
Authenticated with
man.
YouTube. Now it's got, when I click on your Art's name, it says authenticated with YouTube, edit name, kick from studio, or ban. Should I ban him?
Yeah, ban him.
Yeah.
There I go.
Yay!
All I did was click on your picture. I don't know how to. Let me
Yeah,
see if
but
I can move.
You just moved me to the bottom, or did you put me out in the?
Took you out and then brought you back in.
Like, okay, there's Art. Now he shows up at the bottom. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, you should be able to move them at will, though, according to what it sounded like what Bill was saying.
Yeah.
I don't get an arrow to move me. I'm trying to move me. No, I don't get an arrow.
No, you're probably locked in place.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, drag and drop, he says.
Oh, you know what? It
Try
may not be
drag and drop.
it may not be a feature on the free version.
Oh.
I don't think it is, guys. I don't see it. I'm waiting for Ron
No,
to come on.
Try
Ron
drag and
Lockwood.
drop. Did you try drag and drop?
I
Like
can't.
just click on one and drag it down or something?
Yes, look at that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Look at that. All right.
Boom.
Now I'm clicking on your picture on the screen itself,
Right.
and then
Right.
it makes you a small blue rectangle, and then I can change you anywhere I want.
Well, isn't that special?
Yeah, well,
Coolness.
I don't
You're
see.
so smart, Jim.
What's the point? But okay.
Yeah. That's where I'm at, Mel.
Is that where you were going?
Well, yeah. What's the big
Brilliant
deal? There?
minds, I tell you, they think alike all the time.
I wanted to show that last one.
So just keep that in mind, Jim, when you're shooting
Yeah.
late in the day. Now, when the sun's high, you won't have as much trouble because the light is coming down through all those dust particles in the atmosphere.
You know,
It's
when I had
Only
trouble,
early and late when it's shining sideways. You know what I mean?
Mel, when I did the sunrise shots,
Uh-huh.
I was getting so much humidity in the morning. It was not worth me doing sunrise shots.
Was it fogging your lens up or something?
You could see the humidity. It was so bad. And this here is what I'm talking about. Look at how you gradually get worse as it goes up the screen.
That's because it's getting, yeah. That's why I said camera angle, light angle, make all the difference.
Yep.
Well, like you said, if I had taken this camera up, it would have ruined the scene.
Absolutely.
Let's move on here. Now I'm turning to the right.
And that's where having a drone gives you a little bit of an advantage because you can go up 20 feet and tilt your camera down 5 degrees and get even a better shot.
Jim, when this kicked off, I thought I was going to be jealous because of Alaska, but it looks like you are home. No, Ron went to Alaska,
Yeah.
and he's going to pop on. And
Is he home yet? I know he was in Idaho.
No, I talked to him on the phone. He's home, and he's getting his video up
Cool.
for us to see.
Okay, so he made it home good and everything's cool.
Yep.
Yes.
Awesome.
He has some nice tales to tell, I can tell you that.
No question.
Yeah, having a whale come visit 4 feet from you, up in the air, right next to you.
On a 16-foot boat. Imagine that crap. Holy.
Well, configuring a gray whale, if he's on a 16-foot boat, that gray whale is roughly triple the size of that boat.
Tons.
Off the coast of California and Oceanside there, when we take our boats out there, for a little while, I had a little 14-foot runabout that I'd put in the water once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And we were out about 1.5 miles fishing, and all of a sudden we were surrounded by a pod of whales. They were coming up and breathing, and we were just in a 14-footer with a 35 horse outboard on it. You know, I mean,
it's an awakening situation.
What's the biggest whale? Is that the right whale? That's the
Blue.
biggest
No,
whale?
the blue whale.
The blue.
100
Yeah, you
feet.
could get up to 100 feet. Yep.
when you're in a little boat, and they're all around you, they're all 100 feet.
They're all scaring the crap out of you.
Hey, no shit.
Yep.
Let me get out of here.
25 watching.
Well, even with my boat, the overall was 29 feet. We sat there the year after we got the boat, and we were off the coast of Laguna Beach, and we came across a bull, a calf, and a mom, and we holding back the 300 feet that you have to keep a minimum for, and kept on looking. I'm sizing this thing up, and this thing is probably pushing about 85 feet is what I'm trying to guess, because I'm trying to measure it against the overall length, knowing what the boat is. And we're sitting there watching it, and we shut the engine off, and all of a sudden the bull comes up. He would just look, and his eye was looking like straight back at the bow of the boat, and he would just go down and come back up and just kept bobbing up and down. Well, all of a sudden, the next thing I know, I can't see Mom. And all of a sudden, I look to the port side of the boat.
Dan, can you answer this question from Mark?
I see a tail.
Steve. I'll read it.
I see a tail, and then all of a sudden, I look over my right shoulder, and Mom, she's right underneath the boat, going straight underneath it. And I just looked at everybody. I said, "Grab your life jackets." And everybody starts to question me. I says, "Just hold on to your life jacket if you can't get it on."
Mm-hmm.
And then of course, why do we have to do that after this is all done? I says, there is no challenge. There is no anything. If I'm asking you to put your life jacket on, there's a reason for it. And then I explained to him that Mom, because right after she cleared the boat, she came up. If she'd have come up underneath the boat, that boat would have just gone flip, rolled right over.
Those tails will do it. Well, I'm not going to talk about it.
They don't. They really. Blue whales don't do it like the other whales do. They just have the mass that comes up, and they'll just unright the boat real quick because they're going to take you right out of the water.
I think they know.
They're a lot more docile and less aggressive than most fishtails will have you believe.
Oh, I know that.
I mean, the odds of them, swimming around your boat and then getting all worried and tell everybody grab your life jackets, I think that would just scare the people on the boat, because the odds of the whale doing anything, I would think anyway, just based on what I've seen of whales, is they're too docile. Unless you agitate them or irritate them, then you're in trouble.
Or
I think they know where you are, because like with
Sure
their
they
tail
do.
and all that, they could swamp you, and they know that.
And they know that, and they know where you are. They're not stupid.
The grays down in Mexico topple these little runabouts down there all the time. In the Bay of Los Angeles down there, because these idiots are going down there petting the whales in the bay.
Well, yeah.
What the hell do you want to do that for? Hey, all right, take a second here. Dan, do you want to answer Mark's question on the 1S?
Well, I actually did already. I put it in the comment section. I said chuck them. They're not safe to keep around once they puff. It's just asking for problems.
Why
Yeah,
would a
'cause-
1S puff? Did
They
he,
puff all the time because they're pushed to a very. These little 1S batteries, man. These take the biggest beating of all because when you fly your micros, man, you push them way past 3.7 volts. They start at like 4.18, somewhere around there. But after about 2 minutes of flying, you're under 3 volts. You're starting to really get into to get a 3-minute flight or a 4-minute flight out of a 1S is insanely hard. So these things actually probably only last about 50 good charges before they puff. That's about it. That's about all you get out of them. So.
look at what Mark says.
Yeah.
It's blowing the minds of the flat Earth people.
Well, we just need to support them and tell them, yeah, if you have to distance too far, you might fall off.
Yeah.
Encourage them to do so.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Keep on walking.
Yep. Back up more.
Yeah. And you know what? If
A little
that was
farther.
true, cats would not shit right off the edge of the planet.
All right. The man of my hour.
There he
Ronald.
is.
There he is.
Hey, what's happening, everybody?
Mr.
Hey, Ron.
Ron.
Don't ask us what's happening. We want to ask you what's happening.
Yeah.
A week of incommunicado
Yeah.
where we all had to guess what adventure you were enjoying today. Because I know you went out a day ahead of time, so nobody would be around you and you could get your own shots.
Yeah. I actually that part worked out. I went down to the spot where I thought I would see the bears, and they were not there. Well, first off, the first day of the trip was interesting. We went Seattle. I met my friend from California in Seattle. We got on the plane together, left Seattle. It was to be Juneau, then Petersburg. We went into Juneau, I don't think we were 50 feet off the ground, and I've never been in a big commercial airline where all of a sudden I heard the engines going full throttle and the front nose of that plane going straight up. I'm like, holy crap, that was a misapproach. And
What the hell happened?
They had to go around or
they could
something.
get in.
Yep.
The weird thing was they couldn't get in on the east end of the runway, but he did a missed approach, and when he got back up to altitude, he said, and everybody's looking around going, what the hell? And Dave and I looked at each other and said, yeah, that was a missed approach. Yeah. But then he said, the pilot said I'm on the horn with another airlines, and they're getting in on the west side. So he gets us into Juneau, and it was foggy. The ceiling was low, and then we didn't even deplane. They had a couple people get off, a couple people back on. They said, we got good news and bad news. Good news is we're going to get you to your destination at some point. The bad news is it's not going to be for a while. So
We don't know when.
we don't know when. So they said we can't get into our next destination is Petersburg, but we can't get there, so we're going to Wrangell.
Could you
What-
see
what-
out the
was
window?
it weather or was it
Oh,
what
yeah.
was the problem?
Yeah, it was weather. It was ceilings
Oh,
are low. I don't know what the commercial airlines what they are up there. Their minimums are. I don't know. So we go into Wrangell, and what kind of ticked me off is that people, anybody going up there, such as myself, for months and weeks and months, even days before leaving, you study what you need to do. The rules were get your COVID-19 test, have your results within 72 hours prior to you departing your home. And so we go into Wrangell, and the guy inside the airport is not a whole lot bigger than my house.
Right.
And the guy behind the counter said, folks, I need everybody to gather around. And said, we got a little announcement. He said, we're going to get you to your destination, but we have a small problem. We can't get there by plane. It's not going to happen tonight. We've arranged, we've got some boats coming. That's going to get you partway there. And then what after that, we're still working on. Okay.
Oh, God.
So this is chewing into your time, that extra day you had planned,
right? Well, yeah, exactly. My plan was to be there by 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
Excuse the expression, what pissed me off was they said, all right, we're going to load everybody's luggage. They said, we have a private contractor here. He has 2 boats, but he has 1 shuttle bus. And the harbor is about 6 blocks away. And he can only take so many people at a time from the airport in his shuttle bus down to his boat. And then he's going to take you over to a place called Banana Point. Well, and he said, as soon as you get your luggage, go outside and stand in line. And the Department of Health was outside. And there was like 3 people. Every damn person in front of me did not do their homework. Everyone.
They didn't have the certificates sitting there waiting to show them?
It was so simple. Get your COVID-19 test, go on to the Alaska State portal, answer 5 questions, hit the attach button to the document that shows your results, and upload it. These people were taking anywhere about 10 minutes a person, because what they did, the Department of Health did, every person that walked up, they said, all right, did you do your test? Some said yes, some said no. And the ones that said yes, did you upload it to the portal? What's that? Nobody knew.
Oh, God.
I get up there. The guy goes, I gave it to him. He said, the last 4 of your social, I gave it to him. He's up. Mr. Lockwood, got you right here. I said, you're good to go. 25 seconds. I'm done. Everybody else is 10 minutes. So
because you did what you're supposed to do.
I did what I was supposed to do. But the sad part was my luggage and my friend Dave's luggage were the last 2 pieces to come off of the plane. So we were the last ones in line. And we had to wait
Oh, Jesus.
about 2 hours.
And you guys were the ones that had all your stuff.
Had all our shit together.
Right.
So I met this old guy, and I think you saw one picture I put up on Facebook. It was kind of this guy, old guy. I felt bad for him. He was going with a completely different outfit, and he was being picked up in Petersburg by float plane, going out to a remote area to fish. And he had the most beautiful, it was not yellow, he was more of a white lab. The friendliest little dog. Oh, my God. And that's all it took. I petted this dog one time, and he was my buddy. Oh, my God. And we finally, long story short, we finally get on this damn shuttle bus. We get down to the bay. We get on the boat, and this dog's doing everything he can to crawl in my lap. He just wants to. So I let him up. On my 80-pound puppy sitting on my lap. So we get over to Banana Point, and it's like, okay, we're still 40 miles from Petersburg, and thank God we had cell phone there. And I called the gal from the hotel who remembered me, Holly. She's a really super nice girl, and we she comes down about an hour later, picks us up. On the way back into Petersburg, she damn near hit 2 bears about 3 minutes apart. They ran out in front of her pickup. And
Dude!
so we finally get up there. But then Sundays, that was Saturday night. Sundays, nothing is open in Petersburg, and I mean nothing. The hard part was in town, all up around the skirts of town, there's bears running all over because they've had nothing but every single day for the past 4 months has rained up there. And there's no berry crop, so all the bears are coming into town. There's garbage cans everywhere, knocking over. All the bears are getting into the garbage. And so anyhow, what was kind of cool though was I went down to that spot the very next morning at daybreak. It's raining. I went down there. There's nothing. And I come back and picked up my friend Dave. And about 9 o'clock, we go back down to that spot. And I said, let's go check out the hatchery. And It's about a half a mile down the road further. We're about 10 miles outside of town. And we get down to the hatchery. There's a Alaskan Fish and Game warden and a Alaskan state trooper standing down there. And I go up and I started talking to them. They said, "Hey guys, just kind of hang here for a minute. There's a bear keeps poking his head out of the woods." Sure enough, this bear comes out, keeps poking his head out. What they have, which is really interesting, at this hatchery, there is the river comes into this hatchery, and there's probably 200-300. You'll see it in my video. There's probably 200 or 300 salmon right in this one, like a pool, and what he has is
Is that like farm fishing or farming?
Yeah, it's almost like a little farm, and he has a if you think of a round ceramic pipe, he has it cut in half, and he has a chute up out of the river up into this gigantic cement square, almost like a square swimming pool.
Right.
And what he does is he collects the females that come up there. He collects the eggs, and then he has several other areas up there where the eggs hatch. And I forget what all he does, but anyhow, this guy's running around that work there, and the state trooper and the game warden. The reason they were there, it's a hiding spot for them to look into the river in this one area of the river where you're not allowed to fish, and they're waiting for people to come floating down the river by boat. And sure enough, after about an hour talking to them, they're like, "Oh, there we go," and they take off. The guy that owned the hatchery, he comes up to us, and he's me and my buddy Dave, and he said, "Guys," he said, "I'll tell you what," he said, "I had 7 bear in here about an hour ago." He said, "If you guys go back to this building, it was like 20 feet behind us," he said, "hide behind those pallets. I'm leaving. I'm done for the morning." He said, "Just stay back here. I guarantee you no longer than 15 minutes. Sure enough, he leaves. He puts his golf cart away. He leaves. 15 minutes on the button. There come the bears. And they come in to the big pool or the hole right there in the river.
Free food?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Free food. And what was kind of neat, too, is what we had to do a couple times even before the bears got there, that chute that ran from the river up into that holding tank that they had, these giant king salmon that were 3 and 4 feet long would go up that chute because salmon automatically, instinctively shoot up rapids. And they were going up that chute and they would fall out. So I'm going over and grabbing these gigantic 3-foot salmon and putting them back in the water. It was cool as heck. But I got some really good video of the bears. 2 different bears came in. And we hung out there for about another half hour. But and then the next morning, the outfitter, later on that afternoon, the rest of my friends, the other 5 arrived. And the next morning, the jet boat from the outfitter picked us up. And we were down, it's about a 2-hour boat ride from Petersburg down to the southern part of Prince of Wales Island. The funny thing was, I was getting kind of bummed out from a photography standpoint. I don't mind so much fishing, but from a photography standpoint, I was getting bummed. I'm sitting there thinking, is it going to rain every single day? You know, it's going to. I mean, it was bad. It was pouring. Just that 2-hour boat ride, we left Monday morning. We get down to the lodge, and I'll show you this one picture. It was absolutely gorgeous. I mean, absolutely gorgeous.
And now this is at the lodge that you were supposed to be at on Saturday?
On Monday. On Monday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which we arrived at on time. I committed a couple days early in Petersburg just to kind of hang out in the area, look for bears, do some photography. And the funny thing is too, is because they've had so much rain and no berries, that's why and no sunshine, the berry crop's terrible. Well, now the brown bears, the Alaskan brown bears were coming in. Those are the ones you really got to watch because they get aggressive. I didn't see any Alaskan brown bears, but anyhow, we get down to the lodge. I'll tell you what, guys, anybody that's ever interested in going there, it's Class A operation. We get down there, and the same thing I told my friends who had never been there before, the 3 that had never been there. I said 5 minutes out from the lodge, he will radio Bill, the owner's son, will radio the lodge and say, I'm 5 out. We start to pull into the cove, and I could see the entire staff standing on the dock. Everywhere from the owners to all the kids on the dock, the kitchen staff, everybody is all standing down there waiting. And you get off of the boat, they all shake your hand and they ask you your name. And somehow, I don't know how they do it, but there's 30, 40 people there at a time, but they remember your name.
How many were in your group?
There were 7 in my group, and we broke up into 3 different boats. I took my 2 friends that have never fished there before and never salmon fished before. So we had at least 1 experienced person in each boat, and the other 2 boats had 2. So we went in there the first day. They give you about a 15-minute orientation on the rules that have changed. There were certain fish that were not allowed anymore that were last time I was there, and the limits have changed. But and then we went inside, and I'll tell you what, guys, I never ate so much in my life as I did this week. The wife, I brought home I bought 2 of her cookbooks. She is just phenomenal.
For the fish?
Oh, yeah, for the fish and 9 million other things. She is a phenomenal cook. We ate so well. I mean, one night we had prime rib.
Wait. How many people did you show your refrigerator picture to? Your freezer picture to?
None.
Because you better have a cookbook for different ways to eat.
Is that what we call it now?
Well, he said he was bringing home 100 pounds.
It's
700 plus.
Let me
With
see.
all our guys,
Bring that in a little further.
Wow.
There you go.
it is completely top to bottom. I can't fit I can't even fit a whatever in there.
Ron, now what you need is not the cookbooks. You need Nancy to come down and con her into cooking the fish for you with the cookbook.
Well, we've heard us talk about that. I actually got her cookbook too. But yeah, like I said, the cleaner guys, it was better than last time. It really was. The only scary part was that whale Saturday afternoon. I was just telling somebody about Jim. I was just talking about it. I was so scared, but so excited to see it. But I don't think I really would like to experience it again. When you troll for salmon, depending on the current, you're only doing about 1.8 to about 2.3 knots. So you're really, really going slow. We had put our lines out, and it was my turn to drive. And I no sooner, I just started slowly put up the throttles, and everybody heard me yell, "Holy!" And the other 2 guys are looking back at their lines to make sure they're falling out and straightening out. And then I heard the same thing from both sides of the back. Like I said, when I'm sitting down at the seat at the controls, and my neck is completely hyperextended, looking at the top of this whale. And the first thing I did was try and strip the gears of the boat, because I grabbed the throttles and yanked it back. And I think that's what saved us from him landing on us. He came up, he spouted, and then when he came down, his tail actually smacked the front of the boat and knocked us about 40, 50 degrees off to the right.
Holy crap.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They must really know where you are, because they can
They
break.
do. The thing I really, and I'll tell you what, the thing I think I enjoyed the most of the whole trip was every night for about 4 nights in a row. They hire these real young kids. They're 18, 20. They're going to college and they're there for the summer. Super, super, super nice kids. And when you can come in anytime during the day if you need extra bait, need your line restrung, whatever. They are standing on the dock waiting, and they don't just take your pole and I'll go up to the house and get it. They run, they bolt. I mean, they go fast, and they can race them back down to you. Every night when you come in, hey guys, dinner, 6 o'clock, go to dinner. They get into your dry box and they pull all your fillets, all your fish out, and they have all these tubs, like gray plastic tubs with the number on it. Like we were boat 6, and all your fillets are all put into number 6, and then it's put in freezer 6. And like I said, just oh my God, the top-notch service, the food, but the thing I like the most of what I did every night, I come in at 6 o'clock, or we come in about 5:30, and I hurry up, ran up to because I only took my still cameras on the boat with me, and I went up to the room, changed clothes real quick, ran down to dinner, gobbled up dinner, ran back up to the room, had my drone and everything, and then I would run back down to the dock. They don't want anybody out past 8 o'clock. So these kids would run me a quarter mile out through the cove, go out around the corner, and there was this little island. I have a picture I'll show you in a minute. But I would sit out there on this island all by myself and just watch these whales come up and down in front of me and spout and jump. The hard part with them is you never know when sometimes you see them coming, you can kind of judge them. Sometimes they'll go under a minute, sometimes they'll go under for an hour. So it's kind of a guessing game. But
were they blue whales?
Blue whales or gray whales. Friday, I watched Mama Orca and her calf followed us for almost 2 miles up the coast. They were right 20 yards outside the coastline. I don't know why they hung so close to the coast, and they kept surfacing beside us all day for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. It was amazing.
They're waiting for lunch.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt.
Hello, Matt.
Hello, Matt.
Matthew.
Hey,
Matt.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah, bud.
Ron. I need to step out. So I got a couple things I got to do, but I'll watch from the sidelines.
Okay.
But I want to leave you guys with this quick little image. If Jim will share the screen real quick.
Biden and Harris were sent by God. Why? Did he run out of locusts?
I thought you guys would like that.
It's good.
That's pretty cool.
Thanks for inviting Jim.
That's
Ron,
priceless, Mel.
We're looking forward to seeing some video and pictures.
All right, I will share this a little bit here, Jim. Share screen. Share screen.
I see it.
Okay.
Who did we lose?
Adrian?
Art jumped out for some reason. I think his stream.
And Adrian.
Hello.
Oh, he's behind Bob's icon. Hello, Adrian. Good evening.
How you doing, Steve? How you
Doing
doing,
well.
Ron? How you doing, boss?
Adrian.
What's going on, tater tot, tater chip, jackass? How you doing, Matt?
Going all right, mate. How are you?
I love you, ponytail. Anyway, Jim, how you doing, man?
I love you, ponytail.
Ponytail.
Yeah, that's his name, ponytail.
Is there something we should know?
Yeah,
Huh?
really.
Yeah, actually, Ron, yes, you do, because all the pictures he be sending me getting a little freaky. It is.
Okay.
I mean, listen, I think I need to go ahead and call YouTube and file sexual harassment against him. It's getting a little too ridiculous now. It is.
Sexual harassment.
Sexual harassment charges, yes. I need to get paid, damn it. I need to buy another drone.
You need to buy another drone?
You need another
Yeah.
drone like you need a hole in your head.
Right.
Don't take any of my-
I take that back. You need a hole in your head. You don't need another drone.
Yeah, that's more accurate, Steve.
14 drones, 28 guns.
Don't be giving out false information. It's 37 guns.
And it's a partridge in a pear tree.
Yeah.
37 guns and 10 drones so far. Anyway, I'm about to eat some dinner. Be back in a little bit.
All right.
Here. That's the wrong one, little girl. Put my plate down.
37 guns.
Jeez, I've only got 19. Yes, I better step up.
T like, ooh.
This
You
is
saw him, bitch.
37 guns. That's one gun for every brain cell.
Matt. ¿Dónde está la casa de Pepe?
¿Dónde está Casa de Pepe?
Okay, if you don't know that answer, then cállate la boca. I'll be back in a little bit, guys. Peace. I'm hungry.
Or,
La
there's
cha-cha.
one thing, but yeah, Adrian, but there's a follow-up to that as I learned as a kid. And it's called Before I Give You Kaf Patimek. In other words, I slap you in the mouth in Arabic.
Well, that's about that one.
Anyway, I'll be back. That was for you, Ponytail.
You're worried about the pictures I'm sending you? Look at that disturbing image. God
Really?
damn it.
That's a nightmare.
Disturbing? I'm blind now. I'm with you, Matt.
Okay. G'day, Jim. G'day, Steve. G'day, Dan. G'day, Ron. I see you too, Dan.
Who, me?
Yeah, that message you sent me on Messenger. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you didn't respond, so how do I know you looked at it?
No, I know. Oh, well, it shows you I've seen it.
It shows you that you've seen it.
I
right?
don't go back and look. I'm waiting for a response, not a YouTube to let me know after I go back and check to see if you responded.
Oh,
Hey, Darian, I know you from Jim's channel, man. You change your name?
Who?
Darian, Magnificent Germany with Darian.
Yeah.
He does guided trips over to Germany, but I met him on Jim's channel, a video call-in show. I hadn't seen him in a long time. Germany Travel and Personal Guide used to be his name.
Matt, you know what I'm waiting for still, right?
Your intro video.
Oh, this guy.
Yes
It's
or
only been
no?
like 3 months.
Yeah, it has been, eh?
Well, it's hard to get people to work for that $100 sum of money.
Well,
I'm waiting.
waiting
for my rates to. I'm waiting for my rates to go up before I start it. See,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Matt, did
I
you
was
see
waiting for my.
that link I just sent you on Messenger?
yeah.
Did you recognize that gal?
They all stole your shots, Ron.
Huh?
You were on Matt's show showing that girl live.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, it's all over Facebook with other people, old number 7.
Yeah, that's all Chris Hope talks about. Oh, number 7.
Yeah, I remember 7. Oh my God.
Yeah. But anyhow,
Yeah.
that was the dock down in Petersburg. This is when we left that rainy area and come 2 hours south. This is in front of the lodge.
Oh, beautiful.
Make
and this
that,
is all,
full
it's all the
screen or
boats
something.
here. This is all the bigger the boats are. So you can picture this little boat, and I've got a 30, 40 foot, 20-ton whale out in front of me. So you can imagine why I almost crap myself.
That looks like a new dock.
Oh, it was
They just
awesome.
rebuild that?
Yeah, it's fairly new. It's what they call a floating dock. And when it's low tide, boy, that thing really, oh my God,
Bends down.
it does big time. We had rain almost every day, but sometimes only rain for like 10 minutes. And then the sun would come back out. The cool thing was the picture does not do it justice, but this is the most vibrant double rainbow I've ever seen.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah. And this is my 2 buddies I was with here. And then I didn't realize that I took a picture. I wanted to kind of corner that rainbow, and I didn't realize it was my other friends. It was their boat. After I got to look at the picture, like, wait a minute, a black jacket and a yellow jacket, that's Ron and Randy. But it had that rainbow going right through there, and the birds were flying through.
Oh my God, what an awesome
That's a
shot.
nice shot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
That's one for an advertisement for the lodge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
it is.
This was an area called Hole in the Wall. It was about a mile and a half down below port protection. I told you that TV show that they film up there, and it was this crevice that you went through, and along in the mountain, and you went back, and it was a protected area. You weren't allowed to fish there. We would took the boat back and just went back and checked it out. Oh my God, all the salmon you could see back in there was just incredible. That was kind of cool.
Well, you couldn't fish, but did you start scooping with the net?
We thought this was with the Nikon, Jim. You'd asked me what was my favorite camera.
Yes.
These two whales were out about 200 plus yards away. That's one of the nights I was sitting up on the island. I just thought it was kind of cool. I caught the water, coming down
off the fluke.
Off the
Now,
tail there.
Ron,
gray whale.
That bokeh in there, is that something you went for, or the lens auto did that for you?
No, say again.
The bokeh, because the tails are sharp, and then you see how they are the focus of the picture, and
right.
The background is.
Jimmy, I tell you, in these moments, you don't have time to think and compose.
Right.
Actually, I threw the camera in automatic mode because sometimes you have 1 or 2 seconds, and it's either you take the shot or you don't get it at all, because you never know when they're coming up and how long they're going to be up. Sometimes they'll actually come up and breach, and they'll play on top of the water for a minute or so. But 90% of the time they come up and just spout, and they go right back down. If you see them
bending thing.
Yeah, if you see them with their tails almost straight up in the air, that means they're diving deep.
They're sounding.
They're not coming up for a while.
Yeah.
Here is, like I said, this was my paradise. I don't know if you can see the little dot right here. That's me sitting on the island.
Can you make that picture bigger?
I can.
It's only taking up a quarter. Yeah.
There you go.
There I am.
Wow.
I'm sitting up on the island. Got all my camera and drone equipment there. It's completely surrounded by water, so I had to be brought in by boat.
It looks like you could see where high tide goes.
Yeah, and depending on and you had to pay attention to the tide, because there was a couple times I was there when the tide changed. Like, okay, I got to climb elevation here a little bit before my cameras and stuff get wet.
What's the tidal elevation flow there? Is it about 20 feet?
At least.
Yeah. Because I know it can get up to, in places in that area, like about almost 40.
Yeah. The day I went down, that first day I went down, it was raining when I left town. It's weird. You can drive a mile and see a weather change. So this is the first eagle I photographed down at that area where I was looking for bears, and thought he was pretty cool. He was sitting there watching me, and I'm like, I'm a little leery about launching this drone. He was only 30, 40 yards behind me. So I was a little cautious about that. There's one afternoon we came in early. That was the day that I went out with, that was on Saturday, where we come in, dropped off our fish, and then I went out with the cameras and the drone for the afternoon. Didn't do any more fishing the rest of the day.
So if we looked on a map, it would be Point Baker?
Yeah, Point Baker, Alaska.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you that earlier. I mean, I know where Juneau is, but I don't know where anything else you're talking about is.
You can see it on Google Earth.
Southern tip of Prince of Wales Island.
You can find it on Google Earth. I did it with Ron the one day.
Did you?
Yeah. Then this is the biggest salmon I caught. He was 22 pounds.
Yummy.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a big boy. Is that a big boy? I don't know. How big is
he, for a silver, he's big. Yeah, he was almost as big as my one friend caught a king. He was 32 inches, and I forget how many pounds, but king salmon are generally in the spring.
Right.
But there were a few lingering around, and they said we had to have a king salmon stamp that was like $50.
Yeah.
They said you may catch one, you may not. And I'm like, it's not worth spending $50 to maybe we'll catch one. But anyhow, this guy was as big as that king.
Hey, Mitch.
Hey, Mitch.
Hey, guys. How you doing, everybody?
He was huge.
Ron is sharing his trip with us.
Yeah.
I've been watching the whole thing.
One thing about the halibut, when you fish halibut, it's a team sport, and when one guy has one on, like we had 3 in the boat, which is kind of nice. One guy has to stay on the wheel at all times, because what you do is you fish during what they call slack tide. It's when the tide's not coming in or it's not coming out. And what you want to do is you want to drop your line. You want to be in anywhere between 200 and 400 foot of water.
All right, now let me ask you a dumb question.
Yeah.
Back on Long Island, slack tide was only a half hour long.
Yeah. It's
How
generally
long?
only about half hour to an hour.
Okay. I was going to ask if it was different.
And you know, the tide charts aren't exactly accurate, but my friend Mike, you know, I took the wheel. It was my turn to take the wheel. It was his turn to fish, and you know, he lashed onto this big guy, and then sometimes it takes 2 people because I actually speared this fish, and I got the spear and the end cap of the spear. Well, that's why there's so much blood there. That's a 60-pound halibut, though. But,
Sweet.
yeah.
Size of that thing, my God.
Yeah.
What was Bob Casey wants to know what your biggest flounder was?
We didn't actually get any flounder. This is my biggest halibut. He was actually only 40. You know, and I'm happy with that. You know, that was a 40-pound halibut. So, you know,
That's good eating.
yeah. And they actually say the real big ones are actually not good to eat.
No, they're
So
tough.
I was happy catching those smaller ones.
Is that because they're older and tougher?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes, it is.
But and then I was a little reluctant to show this, but now I will. This is that area that I went to initially to see the bears. We didn't see any, but then I went. I don't know if you can see my mouse. Right up here in this area is where the fish hatchery is at, and this is where I saw the bears. But there were people just fishing all over the place here. But I just did a little overhead footage, and then I just actually go ahead.
Ron, you suck. You suck. Have a look at that. Have a look at that landscape.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
God damn.
All the bogs. I mean, it's beautiful.
But I'm just putting some clips together. Yeah, this is that one bear. I got fairly close to him. Look at the claws on him.
Ron, I'm hungry. Come bring me fish.
Yeah. The 2 whales here. Look at the size of this next one.
He's a 40 footer.
Easy. Yeah.
I'll play that again because I was typing. I missed it.
Because I'm used to gray whale. The number 1 whale watching area for gray whale in the world is right here in our hometown.
Well, they come up the coast every year from Mexico where they breed, right? And then they bring the babies on up.
They're up mating right now.
Yards, but I zoomed in on this. Look at the size.
They're up there mating season now, up in the bay.
This guy was huge.
Hey, Ken. Let me jump out and bring Ken Doe.
Yeah.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, Ken.
Hey, Ken.
Good evening, sir.
But anyhow, guys, that's all I have to show. Sorry it took up so much time, and
That's why we came here. We came to see your pictures.
yeah.
We're not here to see Jim. We're not here to see Jim.
You got room for Jim. Jim, there you go.
Yeah.
We got room for the guy who said we don't need Jim.
Ken, I don't think I've met you, mate.
His channel is Originaldobo. Matt's from Australia. That's Matt North in the top right. Below him is Mitch, old guy in a drone. Ron, up right above you, Ken, is RL Photography. Ron Lockwood. And
Ken, I'm the guy that called you from the canyon.
Oh, your mic is muted, Ken.
No audio.
evaluating whether or not to.
There
Oh,
you
there
go.
you go.
No audio.
Now we can hear you.
Yeah, that's fine, mate.
There must be a delay or something on StreamYard.
Whoa, what the hell?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It sounds like the flight sim in the background.
I hear air traffic control.
Yeah, got
gotta-
that.
Yeah. Printing out mounts and stuff that I broke today. So trying to make time where I can to print it. So
What mount did you break?
I broke a real steady mount today on a house we were doing, so just got a little too close to a power line, so
Oh, I hate that. I hate that.
that'll do it.
That's what was happening with me with the Inspire 1 drones. When I would get too close, they would start. Everybody says toilet bowl, but it's really just going up and down or forward or back.
The Evo was doing that to me today. Funny enough, I was actually, it sort of made me nervous because I was flying over a pool, and it started doing this. I don't know. It couldn't lock because it couldn't really
Right.
fixate on the ground. So, I mean, but it was fine. I didn't lose it, so that's a good thing. But it was super, super hot today. Batteries were like sweltering. So
I think everybody's hot today.
Ken, was that with the Evo 2?
yeah, the Evo II, yeah.
Okay.
How you like
A
it?
little breezy today, wasn't it, Ken?
Yeah,
25,
that
yeah.
usually means it's going to rain. You know what that means? I think we're going to get rain the next couple of days. Anytime it's been like really, really super nice, we just hammered with rains the next couple of days.
Well, what's happening is that Laura, that storm that's coming up in the center of the Gulf,
Yeah,
that's just basically sucked all the moisture out of Florida.
it's true, but it
So
is
we're-
gorgeous now.
Yeah, we're
This
going to
is
be
right
dry.
now.
We're going to be dry for the next couple of days. I think.
I would love like here in like the Tampa area, like at least Hernando, we're projected to have thunderstorms the next couple of days. So I hope that's not true because
When I was out flying today, it was 30 miles at 150 AGL, 30-mile-an-hour winds.
yeah, it was pretty breezy. I was filming out by the Gulf, and it was probably maybe 15 knots, maybe a little bit more with the gust, but it wasn't too terrible.
Let me
But-
ask you something. Because of our heat, I like to shoot in the afternoon, like I was shooting at around 5 o'clock,
Yeah,
because I wasn't getting a direct heat, and it's a lot easier on the drone. Because man, those motors can feel like they're burning up.
yeah. I prefer the evening times to shoot. Like this house here, we did about 4:30, and I'm just now like unloading, editing the footage. I prefer like 4:30, 5 o'clock, as close as I can to the evening, to where that sun is just starting to like sort of set a little bit. But then that poses other problems, especially with the houses on the Gulf, because now the sun's behind and now you have a shadow casting on the front of the house. So
The
can't win really.
only bitch I had was this was my first time using a 25mm lens,
Mm.
and I was on the X5S, and my only bitch was the background looks like it's nothing but haze with a 16
Yeah.
ND.
Were you shooting in any sort of log footage?
No, this was straight. What is their natural one? I don't add anything to it. It's not vivid.
It's just like their standard profile.
Normal, yeah, something like
normal.
that, with a 25mm. But this is why I don't do sunrise photos, because that Florida humidity comes up in these shots.
I was I was sort of like right into the sun. I'll see if I can bring it around to the screen here. So this is the Evo II. I graded it, and if I turn off, like you can see, it's got a really good amount of dynamic range. This camera's probably doing it no justice, but on off, I mean, I was able to pull a lot back out of the sky.
Ken, do you see a big difference between the Evo 1 and 2 as far as the camera? I mean, the quality.
So here, honestly, this is gonna sound really weird. I hate the Evo 2 log footage. I hate it with a passion. I think it's the hardest log footage of any drone to color grade,
Right.
and try to bring back to Rec 709. They don't have a good technical LUT. The LUT that they have taken is like an S-Log 3 LUT, and it's really bad. It like shifts everything really heavy to the teals, and It just looks bad. Even dialing it back, I don't use it. The other thing that I'm noticing right now is that they say that there is 10-bit color. I don't see 10-bit color. I see 420 full range, but in testing it out, even now, even after they said they added in 10-bit, I can't get 10-bit to show. And I thought I was going crazy, and I asked Ethan Mitchell to analyze some files for me, and he even agreed they're not 10-bit files. So even shooting H.265 log footage, I don't get 10-bit. I don't know how the hell you trigger the 10-bit. That's a problem.
That sucks. Because normally that does that as soon as you go to 265.
What's that?
2.0 is the basic what they're shooting at. I forget what the 420 stands for, but it goes up.
You can have 10-bit color in a 420 full range, but like when you run a file, like there's metadata in even video files, but when you run it, it still says it's only an 8-bit file, which they claim, they advertise that you get 10-bit with this, all of them. So
right.
You know, I don't know what I don't know. Like when I went up to Seattle the last time, they tried to tell me that it was like a rampant 10-bit. It only uses it when it needs that. But a file's either 10-bit or it's not. It's not gonna like.
I never
it's not
heard
gonna
of
pick
that.
and choose. I didn't say anything to him there, but I mean, I wanted to just call bullshit on that right out of the gate, but I didn't, just for argument's sake. But yeah, it's either 10.
That's what Matt and I have been discussing the whole time. That's why he started playing with DaVinci Resolve, so he could get the 10-bit and do the D-Log and come out with the true 4K Rec 2020 using the 10-bit.
Yeah,
instead of 709.
See, I export everything out to Rec 709 because 2020, I mean, unless you have like a calibrated monitor, it's really sort of useless. And with 2020, it's not necessarily the color depth, it's the color luminance that's important about HLG. Like 2020, it's the luminance of the colors, not the depth of the colors. So it's a little different. Like I shoot HLG, and if you took HLG and looked at it, you know, raw on a Windows or a Mac, it looks like it's super, super blown out, but that's because the luminance values in the HLG file is so bright. It's just so bright, and that's why it's important to have an HDR monitor. I don't know if HDR delivery is really worth it yet, because a lot of people don't know how to take advantage of it, and it's really hard to work with. So I think, you know, for now, I mean, 10-bit delivery would be awesome, because there are TVs that have bit depth of 10-bit values. So I don't know. I'm still on the fence with that.
That's why I bought this 4K TV, so I could edit on that. But then Matt was saying HLG is hyperlog gamma, for those who don't know.
Yeah, it's hybrid log gamma.
When you're shooting in D-Log, you're supposed to have the 10-bit coming at you so that you can play with it in either Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, or DaVinci Resolve Studio 16. Those are the only ones that'll bring out Rec 2020.
And it just also allows you to push those colors further. Like your blues, you'll notice it most notably in the blue. Like for instance, today I used S-Log 2 outside, which I never do, but it was a super contrasty day and we're by the beach. So I'm trying to get like the view through the window. The only way you're going to do that is with S-Log. And sometimes with the blues, because of how much S-Log, because it's so aggressive, even S-Log 3, it will cause banding where you'll get these stripes and artifacting in the blue. A lot of times only in the sky, but I've noticed it in other areas.
Is that Samsung or Sony?
S-Log is Sony. S-Log is Sony.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Ken,
for the
Evo 2, what type of recording can you do then in order to be like D-Log equivalent? What
I mean,
is it?
it's just their A-Log, but it's not. It's just too flat. It's too flat right out of the camera, and without having 10-bit, you can't bump it up in post without degrading the image. So I mean, I'll bump the saturation up, but their saturation goes 1, 2, or 3. Mm-hmm. It's not like a camera where you can go like 1 through 32. It's 1, 2, or 3. That's all you get. So I'll bump up the saturation in the camera to 3 to max it out, which I usually never do. And even on these files that I did that with today, they're still not saturated. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's the worst.
You know, Ken, you have a good point. I'm just wondering, honestly, how many of us actually have our monitors properly calibrated?
I have a Spyder that I calibrate mine with. It was sort of a pain in the ass with a curved monitor, but you got to have a Spyder because they'll say they're calibrated factory, but that's a lie. And even if you calibrate it, it's not 100%. You can get it damn close. And then the other thing is too, is people don't realize like, well, how bright do you have your monitor?
Right.
Because the brightness of your monitor will indicate whether or not you're going to get an accurate depiction out. So it's always goofy.
I was always having issues with that, with the when I was going for Rec 2020. I mean, it looked absolutely fantastic on my screen, and then when I'd rendered it off and I chucked it on my 4K TV, it looked like shit. It didn't even look like what I calibrated.
Yeah, that's what happened to me a couple of weeks ago. I was filming a review for a lens. I filmed everything in HLG, and I'm using a Ninja Atmos. So I was processing it as HDR in the Atmos. So technically it was HDR, you know, ready to go. When I brought it into Premiere Pro and then I exported it out, everything looked really flat and dark. And I'm like, what the freak is going on? And it was because I processed it as HDR when I should have just shot it as HLG and didn't do any processing and did it all in post. I screwed that up, but I see a lot of people having those issues with HDR delivery as well.
But wouldn't the Atmos give you the true color?
It does, but the problem is Premiere doesn't know how to interpret that.
Okay.
That's the problem, is your editors don't really know how to interpret that information. And again, the luminance values, it brought the, you know, what I thought I was editing, that was how it was going to look. When I exported it, all the gamma changed. And I'm like, crap, now I'm screwed. So what I had to do was export each of them without touching them or grading them, export it, and then edit. So it was like more work. So I had to import all these clips and then export everything to make it work. It was a pain in the ass. Never again will I do that.
It's frustrating. I don't shoot HLG anymore either. I just use D-Log.
I don't use HLG on the Mavic now.
Yeah.
Matt, tell us what happened to you when you had that same situation where you edited it in HDR, but it came out like shit on the TV.
Yeah. Well, what about it?
You edited that in Resolve, right?
Yeah. I color graded everything in Resolve, and everything was fine. It looked fantastic. Well, I just said that a minute ago. And once I'd rendered it and chucked it on my 4K, it wasn't anything like what I'd done. I even, the first time I noticed it was when I did it. It looked fantastic, and I didn't even look at it on my 4K screen. I didn't even look at the file, and I just uploaded it to YouTube under unlisted. And then I played the file once I got to 4K, and it looked like crap, so I had to delete that one anyway. But it was so frustrating to go through all this work for it not to be what I thought it was. And then I started looking, well, am I going to have to upgrade my screen and get a screen for it? You know, and there's you know, $1,500 right there.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
No. Is it worth me doing it for YouTube videos? No. Is it worth me?
Nobody will notice. I don't think anybody notices like the color or like how much time goes into the color grade to begin with. I stress out about color a lot. All my videos I shoot in HLG on the Sonys, and I put the color profile in 709. So technically it's sort of ready to go. But I stressed out about what the color looks like in video. And the reality is the normal person watching these videos, they can give a shit less. If you shot it in log, they don't care. What they care about is that they can see you and that your audio is somewhat decent. That's all they care about.
I know. And it's frustrating that you can put so much work into anything, and 99% of the people won't know what you've done. It's like
they're playing
TV.
1080 on their phone. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's right.
Exactly.
It's like movies, anything like that. All the work that goes into making a movie and all that sort of crap. We just sit there and watch a movie and say, "Oh, yeah, that looks cool," but we don't pick up the detail that they've used a LUT here in a scene which is dreary.
You don't see it in the movie, like, because you know, once it's all like, once your eyes immersify in a movie and you're like already adjusted to that color, you don't see LUTs. But I think people can notice it a little bit, like on YouTube, when you start changing things, or you specifically do something that's different than you normally shot. Like if you're doing like maybe a cinematic, then they have it in their mindset, okay, it's cinematic, and maybe they can see a difference in the color, but very, very seldom.
Yeah. No one will probably ever comment on that.
No,
I
not
think
at all.
a point too where all of us kind of beat ourselves up and like, okay, I want this to look perfect
You are your worst critic.
in my TV, but then you have how many thousands of people like on a phone, on an iPad, on a laptop. Like right now, the colors I'm very happy with on my 30-inch iMac, you know, with the colors that I'm seeing now. There's so many different variations of,
Right.
you know, so where's the happy medium, you know?
I have seen people complain like with Premiere Pro, and I think it's just Mac users, where when you're exporting, it does change the gamma. So they made a correction lot. So when you're done exporting, it retains the colors that you intended it to actually look like. I'm not sure why it does that or what the whole ordeal is with that. I've never personally experienced that, but I know there's certain websites. That's why I always will unlist the video first, and I'll watch it like on my phone. I'll watch it on my computer just to make sure that there's some similarity between the color, but there's always going to be a variance. There's always going to be a subtle variance.
Yeah.
What are you uploading at? Like, you know, you can go up to 100 megabits.
I've actually, for my uploads recently, I've switched over. This is crazy, but I switched over to H.265, and H.265, the megabits are different because it's that high efficiency codec. So you can upload anywhere from 20 to 40. So I'm actually uploading at 40 megabits because 40 megabits in high efficiency is technically like 80 megabits in H.264, and it uploads like that. And It doesn't take much more time to really export. So there's no reason not to export in H.265. There just isn't.
That's interesting. Hey, Ken, on your monitor, I've got the Spyder Pro that I use, and I don't have 4K. I've just got 1080 monitors. But I know what are you running your contrast at for your brightness on it? What do you normally keep it at?
Can I just
I'm
interrupt
not
for a
100%
second?
sure on this because when I plugged it in, it auto calibrated it based upon what my input settings were for the Spyder, at least on the LG. Because if I look at the monitor, it doesn't have an active contrast dial, but it adjusts it on the Spyder. So I'm not 100% sure there, but periodically I'll just plug it in just to double check to make sure that the screen is still, I would say accurate. Because after so many hours on,
sure, every month actually it comes up with a reminder saying time to calibrate.
But I think the most important thing is what you keep your brightness on. So for my brightness, I keep it at about 5760 on the brightness. No more, no less. I think that's pretty much right where it's at. You can also adjust your colors. I think it's adjusting my colors through the Nvidia. It's adjusting it through Nvidia.
I went through that WDR on Windows 10. Wide dynamic range on Windows 10. I had to go through that to set up the 4K TV.
Okay.
It sounds like that's going to mess with what I'm seeing too.
I mean, it possibly can. Yeah. Anything with color or wide dynamic range. I mean, it will absolutely mess with what your output is essentially going to be.
You got the HLG 10 plus or HDR 10 plus on the TV. Then Windows wants you to be WDR, and then we're trying to get Rec 2020.
Jim,
I gave up on DR HLG on the drone.
Can I say something?
No, but go ahead anyway.
Keep in mind, you have adjustments on your TV.
Right.
You have color adjustments. You have adjustments in your video card. You have adjustments in your editing software. All of these things are going to affect what you see on the final monitor. So you can have a perfectly, quote, factory tuned monitor.
Right.
And if the gamma adjustment on your video card is out, you got a shitty picture. Or if you've changed.
That's why you tune it, Mitch, with the card.
Exactly.
The
that's
card.
what the point. That's the point I'm trying to make. Is that when you use the Spyder, it's making all of its adjustments on the video card. It's not changing the contrast on your actual monitor unless you physically change it, correct?
Yeah, if you have a shitty monitor, you're going to have a shitty output. So you have to have, the first thing you have to do is have a good monitor, because then it will accurately represent the colors that it's tuning to. So that's the most important. That's the most important thing. But these newer monitors, the Spyder will actually take advantage of its internal settings, so it can make adjustments. So it's like,
it actually changes the settings in the monitor.
If you have a newer monitor where it has a lightning connector, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So which in that case, it's one of those things where you're going to be like, I would say you're probably 85% of the way there, which 85% of the way is good enough. Nobody's going to notice those minute things like studios and whatever. Yeah, okay, they'll need something that's obviously like maybe 90% there, but I think for the most users, 80%, that's fine. Nobody's gonna know.
I had a question.
We're all pain in the asses about what it looks like, anyways.
Ken, for both you and I don't know what happened to Matt.
Both had to go. Matt had to leave.
You and Matt, your stuff looks awesome, and this is a discussion that we actually had some time ago when you download to YouTube. Remember, Jim, we had the discussion on what megabit you would download, whether it be...
Yes. Because YouTube had its recommendations.
YouTube compresses it too much. So my question to you, Ken, I said both you and Matt, I wanted to ask, what do you upload your stuff to? Is it around 75, 100?
No. I'm using H.265, so it's 40 megabits.
Really?
Really, yeah. It's 40 megabits. Remember, with H.265, it's a higher efficiency codec than H.264, so you're going to get smaller, more workable file sizes. And what I found, here's what I found, is that YouTube favors H.265 content over H.264 because well, think about it. Why wouldn't they reward those who store less on their servers? You're uploading a smaller file. It's easier for it to process, and it's designed to be streamed. So high efficiency is designed to be streamed. So you sort of get rewarded in a sense that I've noticed this. I swear I've noticed that it's crispier. It's crispier when you upload in 265. I know it's not a placebo because I've asked other creators in the space, hey, what do you upload at? And they say H.265. And these are the same people that I'll be sitting there thinking like, damn, this looks really good. So there's got to be something
to that. When you did 264 though, what did you do?
When I did 264, I used to do like 60 megabits just because, like, for time's sake and upload sake, if you go any more than 60 megabits, you're uploading a massive file that's going to take YouTube a long time to process. That's the other thing, is processing H.265 is faster than it is for H.264. My files process so damn fast.
It's faster for uploading, but you need a diesel engine for
well, no, not like with Premiere Pro lately. I have noticed that it's not hard to export 265. So whatever things that they have done on the back end of Premiere Pro has assisted in that conversion from 264 to 265, at least if you use Media Encoder. That's what I've noticed anyway.
I've never shot.
Do you upload in 4K? Do you upload in 4K?
I do. Even if I shoot in 1080p, I'll still upload in 4K. The only video I did not upload in 4K recently was when I was up with Ken Heron this past week, just because it was and I had all sorts of goofy resolutions. I had like 1440, I had 4K. It was a shit show of resolution. So I was just like, fine, 1080p for everything.
Well, I do that. I always upload all my YouTube videos in 4K. Most people aren't going to watch. They're not going to watch them in 4K. No. But I why not? Why not?
When I do my real estate videos, those I do in 1080p. I'll shoot in 4K and then I'll export to 1080p. Today I made the mistake of doing 6K, but we won't do that again. that was a mistake.
I'm looking for the numbers. Remember we had it telling us what
they recommend?
Yeah, the 80 kilobits per second. It came out to 56 and above, I think, was the...
Yeah. Didn't we have a big discussion, Jim, on that one night?
Yeah. And I'm not seeing that on this page. Let's see the encoder settings. There we go.
Bitrate. It's below that.
Yeah. There we go. That was their recommendations. So from 66 to 85, but that I was just doing it at 80,000 kilobits, which is what Premiere Pro does, or whatever the hell I use. No, I use
Power Director.
Director Suite 6365. Yeah.
I've been playing around with what the hell is this thing? I've been playing around MOVAVI. Their editing suite for the past couple of weeks, testing it, and it's actually pretty damn good for what it is. It's sad when a $70 editor can still render in the background and Premiere Pro can't. That just kills me.
Oh, jeez.
Absolutely kills me. It can do that and Premiere Pro can't.
They've always been a hog, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting better. I'll give it to them that they are getting better, but they need to work on the efficiency for the workflow. That's the thing that I need to see happen from them, is just get the workflow down before you add any other enhancements. I don't care how long something takes to edit or export. What I care about is how long it takes to actually render.
Mm-hmm.
What's that composite program on Premiere? That's
what do you mean?
Geez, I don't use it, so I don't remember it.
After Effects?
After Effects is the other one that can do Rec 2020.
Yeah.
But again, to what Mitch was saying, you either go into the calibration of Adobe sRGB or because
so you have to turn colors on. There's a feature under Premiere where you can turn on to see additional colors.
Okay, and it was the same on DaVinci.
I'm not 100% sure on DaVinci, but I would imagine it's pretty similar. I haven't edited in DaVinci in a long time.
And Al Diaz uses Final Cut Pro, and he actually got some good HDRs out there.
Yeah, Final Cut Pro. I mean, it does a lot right. I just don't want to be tied to that to a specific ecosystem. That's the thing that kills me with Final Cut is, you're locked into their hardware. I'm like, I've invested in a Windows computer that I feel is future proof, and it's like now you're gonna be stuck to Mac, and if Mac doesn't update their hardware, now you're buying an iMac or whatever it is that's stupid expensive for the same price. I don't know. It sort of kills me.
Yeah, 10,000. They want $10,000 for their big deal, don't they?
Right, exactly. And there's nothing wrong with their hardware. It's just the fact that you have to fork over the money every time they decide that they're going to make something different, and they do such incremental changes.
Yeah, when you start doing the upgrades with RAM and everything else, so I'm finding that out.
Oh, it gets expensive.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It does. Yep, finding that out.
It's not like a PC, which is a lot more affordable.
Yeah, I mean, at least like with what I have, I've upgraded the processor each time a new processor's come out. I've upgraded the case a few times. So I've rebuilt this computer probably more than I should have in the past couple of years. But I'm still holding out hope for Ryzen 4 that's going to be the end all be all processor.
So which Ryzen chip are you running now?
Right now I'm running the Ryzen 9 3900X. That's the 12 core, and it's okay. It's not like super impressive. I thought it was going to knock my socks off, but it's just okay. It's nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing like they said it was going to be. We'll put it that way.
Wow.
Which is disappointing.
Yeah, for the money.
Yeah, exactly. For the money, it was just not anything that I thought it was going to be, which sort of sucked.
Now Al's using his new iMac. And he also has the Evo II. And he's saying,
so I have a MacBook Pro, a maxed out 2019. I could use this for editing, but I choose not to. I use Final Cut Pro when I'm on the road. Like if I'm traveling and I have to bang one out, I'll use Final Cut Pro because I mean it's efficient. But otherwise, this is just convenient to use the computer.
Yeah, that's a shame they took it away for Windows.
Was it ever available?
Yeah,
Final Cut Pro was available for Windows?
Final Cut Pro was made for both, for Macintosh and Windows.
You know, if they made it for both again and charged a premium, I would consider paying that premium.
Uh-huh.
You know, I would consider paying that premium just to have their efficiency, because their efficiency is really good.
Yeah.
But I mean, that sucks that they did that.
So which one do you prefer?
I mean, I really do prefer Premiere Pro just because I've been editing in it for so long. But that's the thing about editors. Like, once you get accustomed to something, you're going to be biased to what you're used to. And then it takes time to slow down to relearn something. So, you know, they're so similar. They really are so similar. All these editors, DaVinci, you know, how many different ways can you reinvent edit in a video? They all look the same. They're all a linear design, and, you know, they all do certain things that are similar to one another. So it's tough to really say, you know, one's really better than another. I think it's just all personal preference, really.
And learning the keystrokes, shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts.
Yeah, the keyboard short. Yeah, but
yeah.
That's something you can even customize though to be like familiar. So like
you
I
could
have
if you wanted to do that much work, yeah.
Right. If you want to do that much work, I mean, I set up a bunch of different shortcuts that I'm used to. But honestly, like when I would edit next to Billy, he's like, "What the hell are you doing, man?" And I don't use a lot of I don't use a lot of shortcuts. And while he's like freaking looks like he's dancing on a keyboard, I'm like still click, 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 click. But that's just what I'm accustomed to. So different strokes for different folks, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I use probably 10 different keyboard shortcuts that make things go fairly fast. And if I try editing without them, I feel, you know, it really drags down if you try to do everything with the mouse.
Bob asked me what I use to back up. So I use Samsung T drives. So I have like a 2 terabyte SSD that I use. I have like 2 of those. So I usually just back up, like as soon as I'm done shooting anything, I'll back up the files to the SSD immediately. I like clear the SD card. So even before I take off again, like when we were at Mindfield, before I took off again for another go at the field, I was offloading footage. So that way, if I wrecked it and couldn't retrieve that GoPro, which that was a possibility there,
Right.
that at least I had some of the stuff, some of it anyways. So luckily I didn't break anything this weekend. So that was a good thing.
I was surprised to hear that, especially with your preview shots that you had all your drones laid out and saying, "I'm going to break something," and you didn't.
I didn't, and you know, it's funny, man. And it wasn't that we weren't flying hard enough. It just never I mean, I guess I got lucky. I got lucky. So, and there was a lot of people in the air. So there definitely could have been a potential for it to have happened, but it didn't. So, but it was cool, man. There was, what's that?
How'd you manage the frequency control?
That was a shit show. I'm not going to lie. That was a mess because you had some guys, a vast majority of people were flying analog. And then you had me, Kelly, Ken, and Sully, Sully drove 14 hours to go to this event from Philadelphia, which I thought was freaking awesome. We were flying digital. So I was the only one on the 50 megabit update.
Yeah,
so guess what happened when I plugged in?
Yeah, everybody went down.
Everybody went down. So what was good was nobody was up in the air when I plugged in, so it kept everybody down because they're like, we can't see anything. And I'm like, yeah, well, good. Stay down. Let me get this lap in for a minute. So I ended up switching over to 25 megabits. I think I learned a lot about how DJI's channels sort of work and how close they are to certain analog channels. But we did the best we could. You just like, as soon as you plug in digital, you just had to make sure that, you let the analog guys know, because what was happening was they would get a quick blip. They wouldn't lose video feed, but they would get a quick blip. So it's like, all right, just make sure they're in an area where they can punch out real quick. And then they were fine. So it worked. I only lost video feed one time, and that was because of Kelly. And other than that, everything was good.
the controllers being close to each other didn't have.
No, it didn't. It didn't seem like it did. I don't know what happened. I was flying, and he comes over, like, and he was no. Well, I'll take that back. He was like right next to me, and he's like plugs in, and I mean, I was coming at us, and I was like, oh crap, and I had to disarm really quick because I just it just completely went black. It wasn't even like it went fuzzy. It was just black. That's the only bad thing with digital is that you're just gonna go black.
Yeah. Hey,
Kind
Ken,
of like at Spin Up last year when all the Mavics were in the air and you didn't know whose drone was whose.
Precisely, and there was a lot of Mavics in the air too this weekend. I'm shocked nobody, wrecked anything. There was, I mean, it was nuts.
Yeah.
It was
I'm
nuts.
surprised Heron didn't fall off that
Oh man,
that tower thing he climbed.
He's a goofball for even trying to climb that damn thing. To be honest with you, it's going to be interesting at Spin Down though to see how we manage with 50 some odd plus people in the same area. That's the only bad thing about flying. You know what I compare that to is going fishing on a party boat and everybody has their line in the water and somebody hooks up with something and the fish runs parallel with the boat and now then you're watching the first mate just sit there and untangle lines. That's why I would never work a party boat ever. I hate fishing party boats.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey Ken, I was kind of bumming today. I was coming from the west, traveling east. I actually took a little bit different route home today. I was 2-day trip home from Alaska, but I came from Idaho, coming into South Dakota, and I came through Spearfish Canyon. And I'm like, as soon as I went through there, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the day I called Ken. The day I had the problem, I lost my drone with my smart controller, and you called me and trying to help me. I just looked up there like there it is, 200 yards up there, but I don't know where. I tried to go up there.
It's such a dangerous thing to do, man.
Your life. Yeah.
It's, if it was anywhere else, I would say give it a go. I mean, I've had that where I'll lose something. All right, here's one for you. I lost the drone in the sign at Best Buy this week. I thought I was gonna so I thought I was like gonna go up and do a tap, but I overshot it, so it went over into the sign. So, and it's 9 o'clock. Everything closes now at,
Were you trying to 3D?
Yeah, I was trying to tap it.
Stick to it? Yeah.
Yeah. And I overshot it and went behind the sign. So Mike and I from Accelerated Heights, we climbed the building to go behind the sign. And the drone now, the drone is absolutely destroyed because I had to turtle it out. And from turtling it out, it picked up all this gunking crap and just broke the frame. So it was I should have just let it go, but I was more afraid I wanted the Caddx Vista that was in there. So I should have let it go. That was a stupid thing to climb a building.
How the hell did you climb it?
Oh, a palm tree.
Okay.
Yeah, you should have saw us getting down. We looked like two idiots, two assholes jumping into a palm tree. It just, I can only imagine if a cop pulled up. I don't even know what I would have said at that point.
Was there?
I don't even know what I would have said.
Any footage?
No. Actually, I do. I think I have the DVR footage of it going into the sign. And,
no, you were climbing the building.
Oh no. Sometimes when we're flying at night, we're just flying. We're just goofing around, and there's so many nights we'll just go up there and fly the parking lot, and I'm just not even filming, just practicing, I guess. Such a stupid thing, though. Something bad always happens in that parking lot.
I can imagine the crap behind that sign.
Man, it was just disgusting. Oh. Absolutely disgusting.
Time to find a new parking lot, Ken.
Yeah. Well, flying at night with FPV, it can be fun if it's well lit, but it's almost not even worth it. With some of the footage, the drones just don't do well enough at low light. They just don't. So that's always a bummer.
Well, if you get one of these, they got a couple Starlight cameras. Caddx got one.
I've got actually my favorite Starlight camera is the Fox Ear.
Okay, well that's like night vision. Those are like night vision almost.
The Fox Ear Cat 2 is really good, but I've begun the process. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, all my two main whoops that I use, and I have 4 or 5. I've got most of them converted over to digital. So I'm converting my source one this weekend, I should say, to digital. So I'm trying to
enjoy flying. I still enjoy the analog. I've got about I got 5 DJI drones and probably a dozen analogs, and I'm not going to change the analogs. I'm just anything new I build is going to be digital. That's all.
This is the current wall of shame right now. And then I ran out of space there, so now I'm starting on this wall here. So I got the 2 whoops, and I've got a 7-inch that I'm building right now. So
which one are you building?
That's a DC7. That's going to be a digital long range.
Yeah, I built that Gep 7.
Oh, did you?
7-inch Gep. Yeah, I built that one with the DJI in it. That's a nice flying quad too.
I was just curious about a 7-inch. I wanted to try a bigger one before I take on this monstrosity. I want to try to build the ShenDrones Thicc. So, but I want to build something. I wanted a 7-inch just to sort of see, how something bigger would feel before I build that thing.
They're harder to tune.
Yeah, they are harder to tune.
Yeah, they are harder. They are harder to tune. You're gonna work a lot harder to get the prop wash oscillation out of it and some.
You know Ethan Mitchell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he built a ShenDrone Thicc. So I've been leaning on him a lot for his configurations and everything. So I'm going to basically mirror what he did. He hasn't flown anything other than like a 70D on it because he's not sure if it's like, I guess, reliable, but it sounds reliable. If you lose an ESC, you still have one ESC to sort of lower you down slow enough. So we'll see. I'm gonna stick a A6600 on it when I get it going. That's going to be the camera of choice for that.
Which drone now is going to carry it?
It's called a ShenDrone Thicc. It's an octocopter. It looks like a 5-inch FPV quad, but it's got 8 blades, 2 tops, 2 bottoms,
right.
And it has 2 ESCs power in it, and just 1 flight controller. So it's going to be
2 ESCs.
You're using 4-in-1s.
4-in-1s.
Okay.
Yeah, I could do individual ESCs, but I don't think there's much benefit to doing, singular. I think most 4-in-1s are pretty damn good today.
These days they are. I mean, I've never. I haven't been at it all that long, but I've never had an ESC go on me. But I don't.
I had one ESC
either.
go, but I think it was my fault. I think it was because I had too high of a KV motor, and it just popped the pad. But that was my fault.
You're flying 6S, right?
No, I have a mixture. I have some 6S. I have some 4S. I'm just started transitioning over to 6S. All of my whoops, though, like my ShenDrone whoops, they're all 6S, though. I think 6S gives you a better flight time.
I stick with 4S, and all my ESCs, of course, are rated to 6S.
Yeah.
So it gives you a lot, when you take a 6S rated ESC and then push it with a high KV motor and a real aggressive flight, you're really pushing those ESCs to their limits.
I'm so that 7-inch build, that's Brother Hobby 2808 0.5 1700 KVs on that.
Yeah, you want and that would be a great 4S combination. On a 7-inch.
So for 4-inch, I use
4S.
Yeah,
I said
for 4S on my 5 inches, I'm using 2500 to 2450.
Right, but on a 7-inch 4S, you want to be around 1800 kV.
For 7-inch.
Yeah, you want a lower KV motor for the bigger the quad gets, the lower the KV, because you're swinging a much bigger prop at lower RPMs.
Yeah.
So that's why the little tiny toothpicks have 4,000, 5,000 kV motors on them. And when you get to the 5-inch quads, you're in the 24 to 28, and when you get to the 7-inch quads,
Well,
you want to be
plus
down
too,
around 17,
it depends on
1800.
it depends on what the voltage that you're going to put to it as
Right,
well.
but that would be for 4S. So for 6S,
for
you'd
4S.
want to be even lower than that, I think. I would think.
I could go 1300.
Yeah, and that would be all right for 6S. So you do a 1300.
I mean, it should still fly just as well with 6S at 1700. It's just I'm probably not going to get the same amount of flight time.
I got a good tip from Bardwell way back when I first started. The question, somebody asked him a question was, well, how do I know what size, I want to custom build myself a quad. How do I know what size motor to use, what size ESC to use, what size props to use? And Bardwell's answer was, find the most popular ready-built quad, the one that everybody says flies the best, like a Nazgul or something like that.
Yeah.
And look at the specs, and use the same size crap they use on that. So if that has a 2207 2400 kV for 4S, then that's the motor size you should buy. And that's how I figured out what I needed on my 7-inch. I just went and looked at some of the pre-built ones, and I noticed that they all the 4S ones came with 17 or 1800 kV motors.
I hate 3D printing. I just wasted 2 hours. You know what it is? I printed these mounts to hang these things on the wall, and if you don't clean the mount, if you don't clean the extruder every time you print, it binds up, and that's exactly what's happening now. It's binding up.
Oh, that sucks. Start
So
over.
now I got a massive jam that I'm get to clean and reprinting it. This is the only thing I hate about 3D printing is you just waste so much time.
Hey guys, I'm gonna pop out.
I'm gonna do the same, guys.
Yeah,
Gentlemen,
Ken,
everybody
good.
have a good night.
All right,
see
good
you
to
all
see you
again.
again.
Take care.
Ron,
See you
thanks
tomorrow.
for
Later, fellas.
Thanks, Ken.
Thanks for sharing the pictures, Ron. That was great. That was really great. I enjoyed that.
Thank you. And Jim, thank you for having me on.
I know you got to be beat, huh?
Yeah, 650 miles today I drove. I'm a little.
Oh man,
the wagon's dragging a little bit.
Yeah, I guess so.
I left just above Salt Lake City this morning at 4 a.m. Yeah, it was a beautiful drive. It was a long day. So
Yeah, it makes it tough, and in a truck it makes it even tougher.
it was. Yeah.
It's hard on the body.
Yeah. The funny thing was about 4:45, I think it was. Still dark. I was coming down through. Oh shoot, I can't remember the name of the canyon in Utah, and I'm watching for deer. Big ass moose comes out in front of me. Like, oh, crap. That would do more damage than a deer.
I was going to say you'd rather hit a deer than a moose.
Yeah.
That's like hitting a pickup truck.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
You'd at least have a 50-50 chance with a deer.
So I'm gonna go and try and get a good night's sleep and catch you all guys sometime in the near future.
We'll get some
All right.
rest, Ron. Thanks
All
for
right.
sharing all those pictures.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Ron. Really do. I know you're beat, man, and I appreciate you spending the time with us.
I'm so excited about putting everything together, but it's gonna take me a little time. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 cameras to go through. Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, a lot of footage. So, anyhow, guys, thank you. Have a good night. Everybody in the
All
chat, have a nice evening, and we will catch you all later.
Okay. Take it
Thanks,
easy.
buddy.
All right.
Bye-bye,
All right, good
Ron.
night, everybody. All right. Bye-bye.
So, Mitch, this is what you're thinking of building?
No, this is what Ken Dono was thinking of building.
You think that'll...
Ken wants to build that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll hold an A600?
Oh yeah, with all those motors. But I don't. Yeah. Well, Ken is doing a lot of commercial work with real estate. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm just flying my FPV drones and making videos with the same old boring stuff that, people who want to watch it will watch it.
Yeah, but you know me, I'm really interested in getting away from DJI. I might use their digital like you're doing.
Yeah, but you don't want a drone like that to get away from DJI. That's a FPV drone. That's not going to be at any rate anyway stable. Or you want something big that flies like a DJI that'll carry a gimbaled camera. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I was my ears perked up when he said he was going to put a A600 on it.
But they're still going to just fly FPV with it. That's pretty much just a super heavy lifting racing quad right there. It's just got your basic flight controller running beta flight. It's not going to, I doubt he's going to have any kind of stabilization. You know, they're looking to do better and better cinematic FPV.
Right. Because that looks like a DJI flight controller in there.
That's the DJI camera. That's
right behind it. You think that's the
air unit.
Camera unit?
Yeah, that's the air unit right behind it. You can see the fins on the top of it.
Okay.
But no, that's just going to have standard FPV gear in it, and
I got some weather balloons and some tanks of helium you can use.
There you go. Well, you know, I don't take the photography and the editing and the color grading aspect at all seriously for what I'm doing, which is basically just making YouTube videos. So I'm kind of like a non-participant in these kind of discussions. I take my stuff out, my DJI, and I just set to automatic. My GoPro, I use my GoPro, I set it to automatic, and I hardly ever have to color grade it at all. And I look at the final footage, and I said, damn, it looks just like the real thing looked when I was out there. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. That's fine for me. And then, of course, that low-res analog DVR stuff from the quads. You're not looking for the video quality of that. You're looking for the flight. You know, you're looking for the action.
That's why I was questioning when Mel put up his popsicle. It came from the DVR as 480p.
That's what that's pretty much, you're going to get fairly low resolution stuff from the DVRs. Let me see if I have a.
I think he said that was a Fat Shark.
Yeah, and the DVRs in the Fat Shark goggles aren't really the best.
Well, I got a question for you, Mitch. I mean, you've got the Mavic 2 Pro, right?
Correct.
You don't get out and use it to do shooting, to go manual with all the capability you have on that drone?
No, I don't do much. I hardly ever fly it anymore. Oh. Ever since I got started I fly it when I get hired to do something. I get 2-3 jobs a year. Mm-hmm. I go out and shoot something. And I throw it. I just basically throw it in auto. I get for the type of video I need to do. It comes out true to form. I might have to, when I'm post processing, I'll take a close look at it, and I may tweak a few of the color settings. I'll look at the scopes and primarily for contrast and brightness and but. Sometimes, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Oh, I agree. And one thing I have found is the new DJI Mavic Air 2 compared to my Mavic Pro original. Wow, what a difference in the quality of the image coming out of that.
Really?
The Mavic Air 2...
versus what again?
The Mavic Pro.
Okay, the original Mavic Pro?
Yeah. Because it's a bigger sensor.
I hadn't seen the Mavic Pro. I haven't used it, so I don't know. I'm not used to its quality. But that's the one over 2/3 that they keep sticking with. Like, that's the same one that was on the Phantom 4 original, right?
Phantom 4 on the original, I think it was. Yeah.
You're gonna bring it up, Mitch?
Well, I don't know why my monitors on my when I booted the computer up, it assigned the wrong monitor to the wrong
Oh, I see.
to the wrong thing here. So if you give me a second, I'll.
That's kind of like what I'm going through. My
straight-
one monitor went out and I got it fixed. So my other two monitors came in, and today the cables come in. So tomorrow, everything gets torn apart this place.
You know,
what?
you know what it was for me is originally it was, okay, they say the camera can do this. Let's see if it can do it. Let's see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When they were saying that the new Mavic 2 Pro can do the 10-bit digital and HDR and all that crap. That's what, remember how long ago we were talking about that, Steve? Well, let's start putting that to use. And I think that's where the 4K HDR came about, when we all started playing with that.
Now
Well, I mean,
that's an analog video feed, probably 640 by 480 tops.
Now,
Out of a tiny
Someone
little,
like
that's a
me,
tiny
what is-
hawk, little tiny hawk drone.
are we talking TVL? What TVLs are that? Is that because I
Well,
see that listed on those cameras?
The cameras, some of the cameras go up to 1200 TVL, but basically the resolution of the DVRs in the goggles is probably 640 by 480. So the cameras are capable of a higher resolution than the displays are. And what it's recording are the displays. Now this isn't the greatest, but the difference between it and a digital, this is digital now.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Would you say that was what we were just seeing in the analog? Would you say that that's normal?
Yeah, except for the fact that it was a fairly, not a high power transmitter. So you're going to get more lines in it, but this is 720p goggle feed from the DJI,
Yeah,
and
digital
that's exactly what I'm seeing in the goggles right there.
So it is a hell of a difference.
Yeah. And this was one of my earlier. This flight was one of my early DJI. The flying isn't the greatest, but I'm just showing you. And there's not much to look at out there at the park. You got a lot of brown grass.
I know.
But
Matt keeps busting my chops, saying, "Jim, there's got to be stuff around you that you can get that's in." No, Matt, there isn't.
no, it's boring. Yeah, other than the beach,
Yeah.
we got nothing. We got nothing here. And you know what I want to do, Jim? And we ought to do this one day. We need to go down to Sebastian Inlet,
Right.
where they got the lighthouse.
Now that's a state park. Is that going to be a problem?
I don't think it's a problem. I've seen videos. Other guys have flown it. It's not a federal national park. It's a state park. I think you can fly down there, but it's beautiful. They got beautiful water, and you're going to have a lighthouse to orbit. And I've been down there, but I've never gone down there to actually fly.
No, I will pack the car and go with you on that one. We'll bring them all down.
Yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I would like to do that. Yes.
Yeah, and the weather, in another month or so, we're going to start getting where it isn't, brutal out there.
It'll be
humid.
bearable. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be much nicer. But the grass at this park, unfortunately, they're not. Okay, this. This was. What was this? This was. I got so many shortcuts here.
Excuse me.
I don't know what the hell that video is. I'm just clicking on
Neither-
things.
well,
When
then-
you're switching-
then you can join us, Mitch, because neither do we.
When you're switching between, are you using your Stream Deck at all?
Well, my Stream Deck has buttons on it. So if I push the button on my Stream Deck that says "Make me full screen,"
Okay. You've set it
look
up
at
that way.
show me my studio,
Right.
show me what's going on my right monitor, show me the Gorilla. I've got all these things on my Stream Deck. I could do the same thing by just clicking the mouse over there on the OBS window, but it's nice. It's nice to have the buttons.
I had that Stream Deck all set up for that studio I had, and then Streamyards came out. And it just made it so damn easy that I didn't need that studio that we built.
This is this footage I shot a few days ago, 4 or 5 days ago, when it was really cloudy in the morning. But I had built that reptile, that red Cinewhoop I showed you.
Yeah.
And this was I just had to test fly it, and that thing is so smooth and so stable that for the first time I decided I'm going to risk my $400 GoPro, and I 3D printed a GoPro mount for it.
Right.
And I've just been waiting for maybe tomorrow. It's not supposed to be too windy. I think tomorrow morning I'm going to run out to the park, because I up to this point did not want to throw an expensive camera, especially with the DJI. You get a nice image out of that anyway. But this is a goggles recording. This is this is not recorded on an SD card in the quad. This is recorded from what it's transmitting. Yeah, from.
I just want to say something to Brian. Brian, we live here, and we have what's called the Merritt Island National Seashore, which includes Cape Canaveral and Kennedy Space Center. So all of our northern beach is all federal preserve, or federal,
off limits.
Yeah, we can't fly any of it. So we would have to actually go south of us to what Mitch is talking about. It's called Sebastian Inlet. It opens up to the Atlantic Ocean and our intercoastal river, which I think you guys have seen a few shots of me doing the intercoastal. But we're really strapped for scenic areas.
Yes, we are. And you get into the center of the state, and it's just boring. Just boring as hell.
Between our county and going over to, let's say, Orlando, that would be Orange County, you got flat marshland where airboats operate and stuff like that. I mean, it's crazy.
Well, what I'm waiting for Mitch to do is to take off with that FPV and fly it right up in the eye of that hurricane and see how it does.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. When I was in St. Augustine at the fort in St. Augustine, I did ask the National Park Service personnel if I could fly, and they said no, and it was over. They said it was over their heads, meaning they did not have the decision-making power to say yes.
I think you just go out there early, and you go out there in the morning and you just start flying. If you don't see any signs that say no drones,
which there aren't. Yeah, there aren't.
There weren't. Well, I was down there on a little motorcycle ride about a year ago, and I didn't see any signs that said no drones. So,
let me ask you something. We know, I think we're pretty sure that you can take off from outside a state park and fly into or over a state park legally.
Yeah,
can you do that?
I don't think so. I think the federal parks is an FAA regulation.
That's what I thought.
And they control that airspace, but the state parks don't control the airspace over the parks. The FAA does, as I understand it. I don't know if anybody.
Okay, a question for you. You're saying it's a federal park?
It's a national.
Okay, because like Yosemite, national park, you can take off Yosemite, or say in places like over like Lake Powell, you can take outside the border and fly over the top of it legally.
Yeah, but it's
here's
the big thing about is not the park. The big thing is the like 20-mile no-fly zone over the Cape. They've got it, and Patrick Air Force Base, and that I got to tell you is definitely a no-no when it comes to when it comes to flying anything.
And you know what, Mitch? I flew it for the hurricanes for the FDOT, Florida Department of Transportation, and I had emergency. It's no big deal. You know what? You're not missing anything. All right, it's run by the United States Fish and Wildlife Service.
The Merritt Island
National Refuge, which is
that's not why you can't fly there. You can't fly there because of the no-fly zone that surrounds all the military, the Cape, and
this is where the Space Center is.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't particularly want drones flying around the costly missiles out there on the missile pads.
It is interesting that I'm not seeing drones on their site.
Yeah,
Right
but
at
I'm
the
on a
get-go.
flyby to see a Saturn V rocket.
I'll tell you something,
You
Steve.
can't.
Back in the day, before 9/11 and before all of this crap,
Yeah.
One of the most fun things that we did as pilots here, if you had an airplane, you took what they called the Cape Tour. Okay? You would take off from somewhere in Orlando, or if you're flying in from somewhere else, and when you get about 20 miles out, you call Patrick Air Force Base Tower, and you say, "Here, I'm here." You tell them where you are. I'm 20 Northwest. I'd like to take the Cape Tour. And they line you up with a big runway, either from the north or the south, that runs where the shuttles land, 3 miles long, 15,000-foot runway. They line you up. They point you at, they tell you you're cleared in. You're allowed to go down to 500 feet.
Wow.
And fly down that runway. And you fly by all the launch pads and the vehicle assembly. It's fabulous. And then when you head on out to the south, they'll vector you out of the airspace. But the river, the Banana River that borders the Cape, used to be that anything to the west of the Banana River was not controlled airspace. Okay. And you could actually fly. And I'm still trying to find it. It's buried somewhere on an old tape that I have, and probably I don't even have a camera that'll play it. But I went up in a biplane that I had with a video camera and filmed a space shuttle launch from less than 10 miles away, and it was perfectly legal. I didn't even have to talk to anybody. But we were listening to Patrick Air Force Base because there was 5 or 6 airplanes up there all flying around to watch the launch,
Right.
And Patrick,
I'm sure the news agencies had planes up there, and
not as many as you'd think, but Patrick was telling us when, if there was a hold, we're flying around up there, and you're ready, and you don't realize they got a 10-minute hold or they canceled the launch or something. So Patrick.
This is our airspace, by the way. This is what we have to contend with.
And you see that. Look at that big red thing on the right there.
The fan.
Okay, and look at the western end of that, how it runs right along the river there. So anything to the left of that big red blob, you could fly, and that's fairly close to the Cape. Now, the launch zone you see is the circle that goes out over the water. That's where the rocket's going to come down if they have a problem. So that's all definitely never fly.
And that'll probably have to be adjusted now with SpaceX.
I don't know. That looks probably pretty current. But you can see the river. Blow it up a little bit more, and you'll see the Banana River there. It borders the west side of the Can you zoom in? Yeah. Now you see the big runway, the shuttle runway.
That's the shuttle runway.
You see it? It's right there in the center. Is that long blue line with the white line down the middle? That's 15,000-foot long runway, and if you look just to the left of that, at that red line border, you'll see the river going right north and south there, and that's where we would fly to film the shuttle launches from the air.
Now you see, Mitch, this is that Merritt Island that you and I were talking about.
Yeah, right down.
I had to film these bridges that go across, and that that little airport was my problem.
Yeah.
Let me see. Does this should show? Oh no, they're not gonna. This is skyvector.com. If you guys are interested and you want to check your own airspace, that's what I always use is Skyvector.
Or AirMap.
Yeah.
I prefer Skyvector. It's got everything you're ever gonna want to know.
Well, that's a real VFR sectional. That is the sectional charts that you'll use for flying VFR if you're a VFR pilot.
Now this is all Orlando. Then you got Orlando Executive Airport, and then you got the one in Sanford.
But they all have. You can get authorization on Lance now in any of those airports. But our poor airport down there in Melbourne, right there in the middle,
right there.
You can't, you try to get a Lance approval anywhere there, and it says, Lance is coming soon.
That's why I have a COA, Certificate of Authorization.
I know it. I haven't bothered to get that if I did more.
So Mitch, did you get approval before you took off in Flight Simulator?
Oh, you know what I did yesterday? No, I actually yesterday got the Flight Simulator working and got my transmitter, my RC transmitter hooked up, and I didn't know what any of the buttons did. I didn't know how to change the cameras. I have now since downloaded this. This is
what is that?
The keystrokes shortcuts for the Flight Simulator.
Oh my God!
I mean, it's obscene, man, and. I got a Cessna 152, your most basic airplane. And it had all the old, it's regular 6-pack. It didn't have all the Garmin 1000, all digital flight controls. It had a 6-pack, 6 gauges, and I planted it at Melbourne Airport. And I took off at Melbourne Airport. And first thing I did, like everybody does, I flew over my house.
Right.
And it's dead nuts real, except it's 4 years old. In other words, the maps they're using are 4 years old.
Yeah, Google's 3 years old anyway.
Yeah, but everything was exactly where it was supposed to be and rendered almost real looking, fabulous.
That's what you were saying last night on Lloyd's stream. Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah. So I took off. I circled around my house a little bit, and of course the new overpass isn't there, Jim. It's still all trees. But I went out and flew up the river to see my son's house, and interestingly, it was rendering all the docks underwater for some reason. And there still are bugs in it, but and then I landed at Merritt Island.
I think No Limit Drone still has you can't fly over the airports for safety. Go ahead, Mitch.
Yeah, shut the airplane, park the airplane at Merritt Island, shut it off, and the nice thing about it, I didn't even have to get a ride home. I just said exit, I played with it a little bit today, and I ordered
look at Brian saying a 10-button yoke.
Yeah, I ordered a thing that's coming out. It's going to be released on September 24th, and it's a Thrustmaster
for this, right?
It's made specific, but it's an Airbus joystick and throttle quadrant,
cool.
and real Airbus A320 looking throttle quadrant that has all the switches and the engine start buttons and all that.
Have you seen what Matt has? Matt, Northeast, he's got one. He's got a yoke and a throttle. He showed it to me the other night.
This thing is like $149 for both pieces, but it's brand new.
Have you seen the price of just trying to get a Thunderbolt, just a regular joystick now? They're so overpriced, and you're not going to get anything new until October because they're completely sold out. And the used ones are selling at almost 50% over the cost of new.
Well, this thing I pre-ordered.
Yeah.
Okay, and they'll be in stock on the 24th. But you knew that with 1 million people or 5 million people buying this Microsoft Flight Simulator, that
I didn't realize how many of you guys were into it.
Well,
I used to fly the original. Well, back in the original time, back in the 90s, I used to fly it.
Oh, Lloyd is here. Hey, Lloyd, how you doing? He's jealous.
And Brian,
he's been here for a while.
Mitch, Brian says it's using the Bing maps, and he's not so impressed.
Well, I think you can change the map provider in it if you want. I'm not that critical. I mean, I was having more fun flying the airplane. I finally figured out how to work the exterior cameras and move around with the keystrokes on those things. And you put the exterior camera behind you if you want to look at the scenery, and you can see all this, and you can move it above you, below you. You can orbit around yourself, and you can make some. These guys are just making them by the thousands videos for YouTube of their simulator flights. Yeah, it's. I had no idea that it was as big as it is.
Right.
Yeah, because like Lloyd did that with his. He made that little short video for one of his daily vlogs, and that was awesome. He was flying that twin engine, and it was like, holy crap, this is phenomenal.
Yeah, and I can tell you that flying that Cessna 152,
You go, Dan.
it flew exactly like, I mean, it behaved just like a 152 behaves. And I still remember the power settings for climb, for cruise, for descent, and I just used the same numbers, 1700 RPM for the descent, 2300 to cruise, full power to climb, and the airplane performed exactly the way a 152 performed. I don't know if I'm going to get bored with it or not.
Yeah, Mitch was saying bring the maps is used for the photorealism overlays, Mitch.
Oh, okay.
You can bring them in. I was watching one of a vlog out in somebody, because then you can download all the maps for your local area, which will bring it and run it on your system instead of the delay and lag coming in over the internet.
I took off today when I tried it. I took off out of San Francisco, and I said, use the real weather.
Right.
Okay. And I took off, and I was socked in the haze and crap at about 800 feet already. So I paused the flight. I went to the control panel, and I said, all right, make it clear. With one button, all the weather went away. It was crystal clear.
It's a big update, that's for sure.
Oh, it's an incredible, but you need a powerful graphics card.
Sorry, Dan. Go ahead. No, I have to make Dan blue.
Dan who?
Oh, Drone Pool.
Pool.
Hey, Dan,
Oh, yeah.
how you doing, buddy?
All right,
Yeah,
brother.
you need a powerful video card for it.
I've
If
got
you really wanna-
I've got an Nvidia 1080 8 gig,
Yeah.
and I know I was looking at the specs on it, and they say it's running good on it.
Yeah, it runs good. It runs okay on mine. But I'm waiting. Nvidia is coming out with the new 3000 series here any day now, and of course AMD is going to have an answer for them.
Sure.
So now's not the time to buy a video card.
Right.
They're going to be.
I thought that was going to be out in August, though.
That's what they said, but they're not. It's not quite here yet. The 3000 series. They're going to have the 3070, the 3080. And they say that the 3070, which is going to be about a $600 card, it will perform like the $1,200 cards do now.
Really?
Yeah.
I've got the 1060, right? And then I see the guys with the 2060s and all, and I'm watching the reviews. Like I said, I watch like Linus Tech and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When it comes to video, there's not a hell of a lot of difference when and you're spending hundreds more.
You reach a certain point. Is the memory DDR5 or DDR6? The newer ones have faster memory. How many CUDA cores does it have?
Right.
Yeah.
Some of these higher end cards have 4,000 or 5,000 cores. Think about
insane.
It's insane, but that's what you need. When you think about how long it takes Premiere Pro to render a video, and when you think that these games require 1,000 times the rendering speed to keep it going in real time and bring in all of that crap that you need the power. You need thousands of processing cores.
that's part of it. But the other part is keeping that your case or your laptop cool enough. That's when it all comes down.
Oh man, are you
to.
kidding? I got this fan over here. Even this computer I got here, when I'm running it hard, running all this streaming stuff in OBS, it generates. It gets hot.
Brian, jump on for a second, Brian, because I was talking to him. I think I was talking to him on the phone, and he's got the 2070, and it was running. It was running 50 to 75%.
Well, I've got that stupid 580 AMD with 8 gigs of RAM, and it's flat nailed at 100%.
Really?
Period.
Because how much RAM do you have on the computer itself?
16, but I have 16 gigs of RAM on the computer. But I'm only using half of that running Flight Simulator. It's all graphics.
It's all GPU.
All GPU. Yeah. I'm using half my memory, 20% CPU on the actual computer CPU. Okay.
Ari says they're coming 100%.
100% nailed. I wonder. It takes 3 to 5 minutes or more just to get
to load
to
up
where you can take off. Yeah.
The thing to do too is look, okay, because I've got the 1080. I'm running an i7 8-core chip. I've got it was built 2016, 2017. I'm running the Nvidia 1080 with 8 gig of RAM on board.
Right.
And I'm looking at the cost of these upgraded cards. It'd be almost like, why not go with just the 2080s, put 2 of them on board.
You see the price of the 2080s though?
Yeah, but that's
no. When the 3000 series come in, they're gonna tank.
Right. Well, we hope.
Yeah.
We hope.
But you're gonna be, you're just gonna be using more power and generating more heat.
What do you think the 30,000s are gonna do?
Yeah. They're getting.
You don't process that.
But they're getting down. These new cards are using the 7 or 8 micron technology, which uses less power. We'll see. I'm not a video card expert. I've never been a video gamer.
Well, it was so funny as back in the days, there used to be this. And I'm drawing a blank down the name. I'm just going to say it. And
hey, take pity on me.
Moment.
I'm sitting here with a 1060 card. I got the 8 cores and the 8 gigs of RAM, but that's all I got is the 1060 card.
Mitch, remember the PC Club? The computer stores that used to be all over the United States?
I don't remember a PC Club. I remember Computer Land.
Computer Land or Computer Warehouse?
No, it was called PC
Computer
Cloud.
Land.
They were allowed. They were in the top
Land.
500. They were in the top 500 corporations for stores having computers, and they built a lot of their own stuff.
We didn't have it.
And they were. I know they were around in a lot of the states in the United States, but it was so funny. They were having all these problems with their servers. I walked in there one day, and I was talking with the one guy that was pretty sharp. Knowing about computers more than I was. And then he goes, oh, hold on. He goes, I just got a phone call. I got to roll back. We're having a problem with our server. So I go back in there, and they have this little room, and inside is their server. So I go, hey, guys, what's the problem? I put my hand down on the case. The outside of the case was warm. I mean, really warm. So I said, why don't you guys just go down to Home Depot?
You get a 1070?
And no. Go down to Home Depot, buy some duct venting tube, put it up in the air supply on the air conditioning vent coming into the room, take it down and bring it right in the back of the input on the fan. They put that thing on there. Never again did they ever have any more problems because they had that AC coming straight into the back.
All right, Brian.
Hey, Brian, how you doing, buddy?
Hey there. I'm just wondering if they got any condensation from that, though.
Boy, are you loud?
You're overmodulating, Brian.
Hang on a second.
You got your mic.
Because now I was echoing the other day, so I had to switch mics.
Oh, okay.
That's better. I want to say, let me say something right now. If I'm sitting here right now looking at my performance on this
Right.
computer. Okay, and I'm running Streamyards. I'm doing all this OBS and all that other stuff. I'm using
Task manager.
I'm using nothing. I'm using 19% of my CPU, less than half of my memory, and the graphics card's doing nothing. So I'm going to fire up the flight simulator, and I
That's
want to
gonna
just
take
tell you
15
while you
minutes.
guys are talking, I'm just going to fire it up, and I'm going to leave this thing on my screen.
Oh, so we can see
until I
what
get
it jumps
running.
to?
Yeah, and you can see that I got the GPU here. Right now, the GPU is at 12%. I'm going to fire it up, and I just want to tell you that if I disappear and my whole house goes up in smoke, it was nice knowing you guys. All right, I just clicked the button.
We'll get ready to call 911 for you, Mitch.
Okay, I just clicked the button. Now, when you first click the button, you wonder, did I click the button? Because it takes
Nothing
a minute before anything happens.
I have to bring up Task Manager just to see if it's running.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at here, and I don't see it. And I did click the button, so I'm
Kind of
gonna
like a
Another thing-
turbo, kind of like a turbo.
click the
prop.
button
It's
again.
gotta warm
I'll
up.
click the button again. Yeah, this happens. Sometimes you got to launch it more than once. And then when it finally
that's not
launches, it tells you Microsoft Flight Simulator is already running. So why don't I see here, why don't I see Flight Simulator?
I see it
It
now.
says it's running. There it comes. It just popped up. Microsoft Flight Simulator. Usage, very high. And let's look at the GPU. My GPU is at 12%. 11%. Okay, so far I still haven't seen a window yet. I haven't seen any window or anything pop up that's actually showing me that there it comes. Okay. It just came up. Now my GPU went up to 38%.
Yeah, I see it right there.
All right, let me shut the video off.
Good day
You
to
get all
you,
this
Ari.
nice- You get all this nice music.
Yeah,
Hi
Ari.
guys, how are we all?
Doing good. We're gonna watch Mitch's computer crash with Flight
We're
Simulator
gonna
2020.
watch my computer crash and burn. Now I got it
Your
running in a
ADP
window,
crashed.
so I'm going to make the windows smaller over here.
I'm far enough away that when it crashes, I can legitimately say, "Shit, man, I wish I could help you."
Just look for the flash.
All right, hold on, guys. Let's see if we can make this work.
Somebody's got a browser open. Audio browser open.
No, that's my. Is that my flight simulator that you're hearing?
Maybe, I don't know. I heard some audio.
There's a bit of an echo.
I hear some music. Hold on a second here.
Not me.
Ari's playing Pink Floyd again.
I wish I was. My guitar's in being
it
fixed.
went to the wrong channel. I put up with the music for a second. It'll move over to another channel on my mixer. Okay, so now I gotta hit any key. Checking for updates. It says.
Ari, I thought you had a Ryzen.
I do, man. That I've got the Ryzen 3800 with the 2070 Super and 128 gigs of RAM.
Wow.
And by the way, I'm firing up my version of Flight Sim at the same time to compare it to
Okay.
Jim Mitch's,
Which flight sim
now-
is that, guys?
the new one.
Microsoft.
But
Yeah.
what's interesting right now, it's just showing a splash screen.
That's all I
So-
got.
And
Yeah,
I
new
moved it-
Microsoft.
I moved it to.
Flight
I moved it
Simulator
off of my
2020,
my.
Ari.
I moved it off of my big monitor onto.
We don't care which monitor's on. Just keep it showing to us.
Yeah, Mike, 128. And let me tell you something while Mitch is doing that.
Well, it's using less. It's using less GPU on this smaller monitor than it was on my big TV. So maybe that'll make it work better.
Yeah.
See, I was
Hey, Ari,
wondering
how you
why
doing,
the-
buddy?
I went out and did a job, Mike. When I first built this computer, just to test
Hey,
it.
Mitch.
I took about 3,000 images and it ran out of memory.
What?
Yeah, I did 3,000 images and I tried to generate a high accuracy dense point cloud. Normally medium is considered good enough for industry and it ran out of memory.
What software were you using?
Agisoft, Metashape.
On your
I don't-
computer?
Yeah, I don't use any of the cloud ones. I don't use drone deploy or Pix4D or any of those. I do everything. The entire workflow is done here on my own machine.
Right.
That's insane.
It is. I mean, Steve, I should never have to generate a high accuracy dense point cloud. Anyway, I just thought, oh, I've got 128 gigs of RAM. I've always wanted to try that. And the computer said, no, you don't.
I don't understand that. I've done it on my 32 gigs of RAM with my petty 1060 card, and I've been able to do it.
Well, I'm generating an image with a quarter of an inch accuracy with photos taken from 300 feet. So I'm working it pretty hard, Jim.
Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I made the comment in the comments there about AMD. I got no brand loyalty at all. I buy what's best for me.
Not at the prices, yeah. No.
Yeah, but I'm tired of. I've had a few in the last 12 months where they just would not run with an AMD in there. You know, it's obviously a hardware combination that I didn't like, but AMD, they get their drivers done out of house, whereas Nvidia write their own drivers. And I think that's why, you know, it only happens sort of like 2 times in 100. But if you're on Reddit, you'll see it. You know, people buy the AMD cards and they just won't play. Hello, Lloyd. I'm good to see you. I hope Judy's well.
Nvidia, 2 updates this week alone.
Yep.
If anybody noticed.
I always download.
Are you in the space shuttle now, Mitch?
Yeah. What do you think? No, I'm trying to decide. I'm trying to pick an airport. I want to find someplace. Well, I could make it daylight anywhere. What's this? This is.
Oh, I'm hearing an echo
Forbidden
back of my
City,
voice when I'm
Oriental
talking.
Pearl.
Don't land in Australia, Mitch. I'll put you in quarantine.
Wait a minute. Where's Australia?
It's a 14-day layover,
There it is.
Bippy.
Okay, let's go to Kingsford.
Go to Tonawanda, the airport
Here,
where
Melbourne. Here,
Bruce is.
let's go to Melbourne. Should I go to Melbourne or Moorabbin?
Well, where do you want to stay for 14 days?
I don't know. Let's go to Melbourne.
Ari's going to ground your
set that
ass.
as a departure. And
Don't go to Melbourne. It's an asshole of a place.
Let me hear somebody talk.
Hello? Testing 1,
Hello?
2.
I still hear the echo, so it's not Mitch.
no, it's not me.
Hang on.
No, it's not.
Is that good? Did that get quieter?
I think it's from Brian's.
Hello? Testing 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, there's
I don't
Brian's.
hear
Okay,
it.
I
don't
just
share that,
discovered.
Mitch.
I just
Jim?
discovered something, guys. What I discovered was
That's mine.
when I stopped driving this 4K monitor
Yeah.
and went back to driving a 1080p monitor, my graphics card usage got cut in half.
Oh, sure.
Tell you that.
But I was only driving it at 1080. I was driving the big monitor at 1080p, but it was still using a hell of a lot more graphics card.
Look at Brian's.
This is just not doing nothing. Look at my graphics card. Look at my memory.
Holy mackerels.
99%, 100% GPU, and he's got a 2070 card.
Oh, that's me. I'm ready to depart.
Oh, you're not that
Oh,
old,
that's-
Nick.
Hey, Brian, you're right.
You got
you're
a
right
few
here
more
by
years
yourself.
on you, Mitch.
What's that?
You got a few more years on you. You're not ready to depart yet.
I have to plug my controller in. This is probably really going to crash my computer.
There it is. So, Brian, I have a question for you. How much regular memory you have?
32 gigabytes of RAM.
On what processor?
On,
2070.
You mean on the
CPU.
DDR stuff? 3?
No. Your regular CPU.
Oh, on the CPU? What is that, an i9?
Yeah, you got the
Oh,
i9.
you got a big time deal. Look at you. You're flying.
Why is it
but
drawing
he's still using 99% of his graphics card.
This is Orlando, by the way, guys. I kept it local. I'm not a Floridian, but I'm trying to do my best here.
Yeah, that's
Oh, man.
that's near
Enough
the beach.
enough
That's
of
over
Florida.
in Volusia County. That's the
Well, I'd
intercoastal
be more
watershed.
realistic if I was flying with Mitch.
Okay.
Get some left rudder in there, Mitch.
The weather.
That's not me flying. That's Brian flying.
That's Brian.
Brian
But
keeps
yeah, this
going
is-
north. He's going to visit the
I
space center.
don't have any controls here. It didn't pick up my controller.
Let me bring.
Are you?
I probably have to start all over again.
Yeah, with the controller plugged in first. That's one thing
Yeah.
I did here.
This is generally normal. This is what I've been running.
That's crazy.
That is a hell of a lot.
Have you got your quality turned up? In the graphics, Brian, fairly high. Yeah, of course. It's always the way. You've got a 1080 and you run it high and
God, I'm
use
such a
90%.
rookie. My gear's still down.
You get a better video card, so you screw up the settings higher and still runs at 90%.
I'm going to have to restart this over. I did, Brian, if you see this, I did print out the 3 full pages of small type of the cheat sheet with all the keyboard shortcuts.
You need to copy that as a PDF, Mitch, to pass it around to everybody.
I have a PDF. I'll make it available. If I stream Thursday night, I'm going to put it up on
Okay,
Dropbox. or
I'm
something,
drone
put a
hunting
link
here,
to it.
guys. Leave me alone. I'm under 500.
Can't you fly and talk at the same time?
Hell no.
He's looking for Jim.
Come on, most medium pilots can't talk and fly at the same time.
He's going over Cape Canaveral Hospital area. I know that.
Yeah, he's going over to the beach. Look at that, man. He figured out how to get the outside camera working, too.
That's A1A.
Cool.
Because the inside camera sucks.
Yes, that's terrible.
Yeah, well, you can move it around, but it
Oh, yeah.
still sucks.
Have you, anyone who's
We
got
can
any
do that.
with
Now-
Mendeck?
We can do
have
that.
you all noticed the
Brian,
bigger
as
the-
you go up north, I want to see if you run into problems at the Kennedy Space Center.
Well, you can go
Okay,
anywhere you want with the flight simulator.
I'm about to take on water here.
Climb.
He's flying a submarine.
Well, at least your gears are up. You won't do a nose plant.
Yeah, really. I mean, I've only yet to do one of these. By the way, this counts.
Why are you going down?
You crashed. Oh, come on.
Did you see the four-eyed canines fly over into spin down to Lake Dillon?
I did.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then
I'll tell you what.
he got stuck. He got grounded. He landed in the amphib, and he came up in a sandbar and got high centered on the sandbar.
I'll tell you what was really cool. There's a YouTuber named Squirrel who
Right.
does and he's does a lot of. Well, he did a video where they did the multiplayer and they had 4 guys all flying together, and they were flying up in the bush country in Alaska, landing on, and they were all out there in little Piper Cubs, landing on sandbars, talking to each other. From all over the world, they were flying, the 4 of them, and it was like an outing, and it looked like more fun than you could ever imagine.
Oh
With
yeah,
4 guys flying all over the place.
sounds like the Flying Cowboys flying up through Nevada and all the highlands up there.
That's what Matt Northeast wants to try to do. It. He mentioned it about doing it with me.
Yeah,
And I have a
that's
session
gonna
to
be
make.
fun.
I've never played online before. I do have an online ID.
Did you
Well,
see
you
that
need an
setup?
Xbox. You have to have an Xbox account, I think, to do
I do.
that.
I do.
Did
See,
you
I
see
don't-
the
I've
setup
never even done that.
Matt has, Brian?
I didn't see it, but I know I heard you talking about it earlier.
Yeah, he just showed me yesterday. He's got the throttle and the big yoke that he used to use in the old days with the
See, but
original.
this is what I like about this thing. This is a Logitech. Like I said, it has all these buttons here. You can work everything on the side.
Yeah.
But the throttle is this puppy right here. So you're kind of back here. Well, it's hard to see, but your thumb can work the throttle all the time. So it's just kind of not in the way. I've always liked that one.
Well, this new one, I'll let you know what I think about it. I've watched like 5 YouTube videos on it. It looks terrific. It's the mock-up of the Airbus joystick, and it has the little throttle quadrant with all the switches, and there's gobs of buttons, and $149 for the whole works, the joystick and the throttle quadrant.
That's a heck of a deal.
Yeah, and they call it the Thrustmaster Officer series, and it's painted in that same blue-gray color that the Airbus panels are painted, and it looks sharp as hell. It's going to be released on September 24th, so you had to pre-order it. I pre-ordered it from a place called Flight Shop, and they don't charge your credit card till it ships.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, so I figure, and you can cancel the order anytime before it ships. So I figure, why not?
Thrustmaster makes a good controller. And they've made one good controller for years.
I've never
All
heard
right,
of it.
let's go from Melbourne, Florida, and
Steve,
let's go fly here.
Steve, you fly sims too?
I used to. A friend of mine, the one that builds the airplanes and stuff like that, he's got it. And he does like what Lloyd does. He has a group, but theirs are all stunt planes because he flies older biplanes and his Stearmans and his different planes that he's rebuilt. In fact, here's the one that this is his plane. That's his plane at Oshkosh. He built that all the way down to bare frame. Taking it all the way up. 10 years.
I'm still loading. I hope my controller works.
Are you loading or loaded?
You could have flown to Australia by now.
Okay, so now Melbourne International. At night, I'm at night here, ready to fly. So I have to change it to daytime.
Actually, hey, Mitch, you can't see anything, but night flying is much easier for takeoffs and landings.
Well, yeah. I go to weather.
Oh, you got to hit your numb delete, Mitch. You got your brakes on.
Yeah, I know, but I want to make it daytime. There we go. All right, so we're daytime.
Ari, be careful. Get ready to duck and cover.
Mate, night flights are always good. You can't see what you're about to hit.
Right.
Yep.
Let's
and then
see
it's
if
after
this
the
works.
fact.
Who put those high tension wires in front of the runway?
Yeah.
Mike says you got to power select, set it to fastest, not best video. I don't know what that means to you guys.
It's how
All right,
fast
my
it's
controls are
rendering.
working. See my yokes?
The graphics.
See my yokes moving?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I have controls. So I want to get a little sound in here. I don't know if I'm going to have sound or not, but let's hit Control period. Disengage my parking brake. And
Just as long as the sound is not that of the passengers screaming.
Right.
let's take off.
And where was the aircraft walk around?
No pre-flight.
Yeah, that's the one thing this sim doesn't have is any helicopters yet.
I hear that they will be adding them.
I couldn't fly the helicopters in the other one anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
To take off, press joystick RX. Access X.
That's just pulling back on the yoke.
Boy, Garmin instrumentation.
What?
Sweet.
They just say that.
Now this is a Cessna 172.
Well, I like Brian's view better.
Well, I've got a button for that. I don't know if it's going to work. There it is.
There you go.
Man, I don't know how anybody could fly from inside of a cockpit.
And
First
the
of
bigger the
all,
plane gets, the worse
mean,
the view is.
on a landing,
So I'm doing 80
where are
knots
those
right
real?
now. I'm doing 80 knots. I'm climbing up there to 400 feet. I can, well, I'm holding the joystick, but I can, there it is. How cool are these views you can get?
Now, where did you take off from? Melbourne Airport?
Melbourne, Florida. Runway 27. I'm heading towards 95.
Now,
I
let me.
thought you were in Australia.
No, a different Melbourne. I decided to fly from where Brian flew from.
Time for a bit of inverted flight, Mitch.
Does it have any flight restrictions on airspace?
No problem. Let me get it cruising at least. Where am I now? I'm at
Gain some altitude.
Yeah, I was going to say, you better get some altitude. You try that maneuver.
I'm about 1,000 feet. Okay.
You need about 5,000 for that one.
No, that's all right. Let's just level off a little.
Oh, yeah,
bit
that's
here
all right.
At 1,000 feet.
The ground will just make a quicker descent and impact.
No problem. Let's get some airspeed up here. I'm just coming up on 100 knots here. That's not real. Make it bigger so everybody can see it.
Why is it flashing?
We can see it.
That says GPU. It's having a hard time keeping up.
My OBS is probably doing that. That's probably just OBS capturing it. I'm not sharing it as a window with StreamYard. You want me to? Let me share it as a window with StreamYard. So let me go back to me here. Let me go back to me.
Watch
and
that
let me
clean
hit
view
my
now.
share
He's not
screen and
that's
share
good.
this window.
He's in the air at
All right.
1,000 feet. Doesn't know where the
All
hell
right.
he's at. And he's
Did
not watching
you
where
get
he's
that,
flying.
Jim? I just shared. There it is. Okay, that's better.
Oh, it's
All
much
right,
better.
and I'm flying over here with my joystick. Although I look like I'm locked up. All right, where am I now? I'm at.
It's moving.
I'm coming up on
You're heading inland.
1,500 feet. Okay. All right. Let's turn around here.
Like what the droning veteran just said.
Fly over the Cape.
I'm a long way from the Cape. It'll take me 10 minutes to get there. There's
That's
Melbourne
why I fly that
Airport.
Beechcraft 310, man. Those two props will get you there.
I should have flown a Learjet.
You should have flown the
There's Melbourne
Citation or
Airport.
The
something. and
Citation
got
is
his ass
awesome.
up
That thing is
there.
a bullet.
Is it?
Yeah, the Citation is a fast jet.
Okay.
I tell you what, though, you
guys-
mentioned the biplane. I
guys
tried the
wanna see
biplane.
a
It's like
roll?
riding a bull.
You want to see a roll from inside?
Mitch, they want you to buzz my house. So
I'm gonna try a roll.
my neighbor will get upset.
Oh man, this is
Stick forward.
You got it.
Now pull up.
I was going to say,
I
how much
know.
altitude you lose? Yeah, you're
I'm an
good. You're good.
I'm an aerobatic pilot, guys. I used to do this for
I was going
real.
to say, you do FPV, Mitch. What is the deal?
But I used to fly real aerobatic.
What's your
airplanes.
altitude? What's your altitude now?
I'm down low. I'm probably 600. I bottomed out about 500 feet there.
So if you were 1,000 doing it, you'd have been impact.
Well, keep in mind, this is a Cessna 172. It's not really designed for. In fact, if it was a real 172 and I did that, the engine would have quit.
Well,
Because
that's why
these planes don't have inverted fuel systems in them.
That's why we told you to gain altitude.
Yeah.
We were looking out for your safety.
So let me see if I can get back to the outside view.
Tomas wants you to do a loop.
A loop. Well, you could do a loop, but a loop would be a 4G maneuver. Is a 4G maneuver, and I'll try one.
No,
Let me,
ain't going to happen.
What is telling you?
No,
How hard could it be? Well,
you got to get some
believe-
speed up first. Okay, I'm going to get up to about 120.
If you
knots.
got up to like 5,000, maybe 8,000, and then started on a
No,
downward and then
hold
pulled
on a
up real
second,
fast,
Hold on a second.
maybe.
Hold on. Let's just
Maybe
do a
the
big
wings would
4G
fall off, too.
pull up here.
Okay, this ought to be good.
The
Tilt
wings are
first back into the ground. Whoa, it did. I'll be dang.
There you go.
Well,
Mitch,
it
FPV comes through again.
yeah, because it obviously doesn't take real flight characteristics into it.
Oh no, you could loop a 172.
Yeah,
you
you
just have
can.
to you just have to make sure you get enough airspeed going into it.
Okay, Mitch, now you need to fess up, bud, because I know that there's different settings for realism in this. Which one are you on?
I'm on medium. I got everything on medium.
Okay. Because I was going to say, there is no way in real your wings would have come off.
That's what I'm saying.
No, it's 4G. 4G. Olympus 4Gs.
Yeah.
That's all.
That's
A
all.
Cessna 172 will take 4Gs easily. There's the
Drone shots can roll a DC-10. Well, I'm going to try a 747.
That I want to see. Although it's been done, I've heard.
I've always named that test pilot. I can't think of his name. He's quite famous. He was the guy. He was the test pilot for the 707.
The host thing is not. It's not letting me see the outside camera. I wonder if my side view thing will work here.
Camera came off when you did the loop.
None of my keyboard commands are working. I think my computer's probably confused about what all these. At least my sticks are working.
Hey, Mitch, I just thought of something too. Are you using a wireless keyboard?
Yes.
I just ordered a wired one for this because it's not working good.
Oh, yeah, really? It was working, but with all this other crap working
and that's what I mean. You know, when you got all this other stuff going on, and you need to make sure that pause button works. Yeah, that's why I'm getting a wired keyboard.
You got to have wired everything for it. Wired everything for it. Even back in the old days.
I'm trying to see. Can I can't even. Wait a minute. I can't even scroll around on the screen. You know, in other words, none of my commands are, except my controller is working right now. But that's all I need to
hang
fly.
on, Mitch. Because I think I've made a text file of those keyboard commands somewhere.
Oh, I have them. I have them all printed out.
Okay, drop your fishing line in and you can troll for fishing along the coastline here.
And it happens to be a fast fish.
I'm cooking, man. I'm right up. I'm at the yellow line. I don't even know how to work the trim on this thing yet. So I'm just holding the stick forward to keep it flying. If I let go of the stick, it's going to just climb right up because of the airspeed and power I've got in there. I'm at 200 feet right now.
Drone hunting.
And these are the pilots that we talk about.
Look at the car. There's a
so
car
often
down there.
when we're flying our drones.
Thank you, Jim. Yes, when Dex Johnson was asked to demonstrate the 707 on a weekend getaway for the manager and higher ups of Boeing, who barrel rolled the prototype 707. And when he landed it, they said, "What the hell were you doing?" He said, "Well, you said make it look good." I've actually seen footage of him looping an otter while pouring a glass of water from a jug and not spilling a drop.
Oh my gosh,
Mitch, you're tree trimming there, bud, ain't you?
Tell me about it. Oh, this is flying, man. I like this.
I'm saying this is FPV to you, dude.
It's also illegal.
Brian, have you seen this site that I just posted? That Shack News.
No, but I'm going to.
It's got the whole article on the Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Oh yeah, I did see this. Yeah.
It's got the controls.
That's got all the keyboard commands on it too.
Right.
So, I don't
you
know,
guys
but
ever
somebody
heard of
needs
a
to
maneuver
get,
called a Shondell? You ever heard
we
of
need
a
to
maneuver?
get Mitch's tail number to report him to the FAA.
I'm going to
He's
do a
already taken out about
Shondell
3
here.
or 4 drones.
I'm going to do it. Watch this maneuver.
A maneuver?
Yeah, it's a maneuver.
It's called Crash.
I was going to say this is going to be a fancy.
Boom!
Right into
At least
the
I
beach.
put mine in the water.
Oh man! All
Mitch,
right.
when was the last time you went through your recertification?
It's been a while, man. Been a while. I'm locked up. My whole thing is locked up. Let me get out of this. Let me just close out this flight simulator.
It's going to take you
window.
10 minutes just to shut that
There
down
it is.
too.
And let me close out OBS, and let me restart OBS again. And
This is what Shack News has, all those mouse camera settings and all that.
Hey, you know what I did notice though on Mitch's thing right there is I think he said he's got it on the medium settings for like landscape and realism, and that's the first time I've seen that. Mine looked better, but mine is not. I'm not using the top end. I need to go to top end and see what that looks like.
Yeah, because if you're not loading all the high resolution stuff in,
I don't have a camera
GPU,
here.
It's going to reduce your
You got the
GPU
monkey,
down,
though.
Brian.
Your
It's going to
monkey's
reduce
there, man.
camera, guys. I don't
we
have
know
a
you
camera. I
don't.
got a monkey. I got a
we know
monkey, but
that.
no camera.
The
You'll
monkey's
reduce
chewing
your
up the
GPU. It'll reduce your GPU usage down, Brian, if you just go into the less high resolution settings.
That's what Mike was saying. If you make it faster, what did Mike say? Let me go back and find what Mike said.
He said, oh, crap.
I know. I'm trying to
Old
find
man
it.
moment.
Well, I'll tell you what. I do have a back camera, so you guys can look at my gorgeous shiny head here.
Man,
That's the
awesome.
new Microsoft 2020 simulator.
Wait a second. Where's the sun shield for my windshield here in order to bring it down? The reflections
I
too
have to
much.
I have to turn around and talk to you guys like this. Hi guys, how you doing? Hey, all right, get the mic over here. There you go. I can't see you.
Here he says, got to select power to fastest, not best video.
He means by power select, he means, select your settings for, the greatest power or performance.
Yeah, performance. Yeah.
Right. He's saying power versus performance.
Okay.
I have
I'll
mine set to medium right now, and by putting it on a smaller monitor, not trying to drive the big 4K one, it cut my graphics processor unit more than in half. I can actually now go in and I'm fine flying it on that little bit smaller monitor if it actually works. So I'm going to go in and start increasing some of the settings on the flight simulator to get it sharper and more scenery rendering and everything like that.
Look at the droning veteran put. His beard to stream ratio is low.
Oh, that's good.
Oh my God. Once again, we've gone nuts. This thing is almost 3 hours, guys.
I'm going to tell you something about that. Brian, tell me if you don't agree. If a bunch of us get together on a stream and each of us has a flight simulator, we probably could go for 24 hours.
Yes.
Easily.
24, more
Easily.
like 48.
I mean, you just, because everybody would play off everybody else and try this, try that,
I did 6 hours today, and I was just goofing around. I'm just going, where did that time go?
Wow. All right, what's Mike saying? He says yes, high performance or fastest performance.
which is lowest quality.
In the graphic settings, right.
Yeah. Well, just test it out and see.
I'm
which one
amazed
works
that with
the
all the crap I got running, that the thing still actually ran.
I was going to say, Jim, you had a lot of trouble in the beginning with it too, and that looked pretty good. Not you, Mitch.
So Brian, you have yours at the best graphics mode?
No, I had it set to just below the best. In fact, I'm going to go in. I'm going in there right now and seeing what Ultra looks like, seeing what it'll look like on my GPU CPU memory, seeing if my computer will just not explode.
You mean 100% usage wasn't enough for you?
That was at startup, man. When it's running normally, it's running about 70%, maybe 80%.
I don't see why they would make it like that, because guys like me can't use it.
Ari,
Not
on your video card, is it you got 8 gig of RAM on that card?
Who, me?
Ari.
No, Ari.
Oh, Ari.
Yeah, 27. The 2070 Supers are an 8 gig card. You can get 11 gigs on the top end, 2080 titaniums, but as far as I'm aware, all of the 2070s are an 8 gig card.
Okay.
Okay, we're
Yeah,
on
because I'm still
Ultra
running
now.
the 1080, so.
The reason I went to the 2070 Super was basically when they released the
Oh,
Supers,
sweet.
it was cut down 2080, so it had the same amount of CUDA cores as a 2080, and that's what I wanted for photogrammetry.
Mm-hmm.
There.
My GPU GeForce 1060. I'm trying to look now. I'm just seeing the drivers in the general. I wanted because I know it's 8 gigs of RAM, but I don't know what DDR. How do I find that out, Ari?
It'll be GDDR5 on 1060, Jim.
Okay, it's not showing up on the properties.
And if you've got 8 gigs, then you've got a top end 1060 because you could get them with as little as 4.
No, I know it has more than 4.
Yeah, you could option them. You know, they get them from the factory overclocked or with extra RAM.
Jim, considering you can't see my face, I think it's time for me to go to bed.
Yeah, it's time for all of us, man. We ran over.
The flight simulator and my controller that I plugged in screwed up my USB mapping, and my Logitech camera up here went out. So I only have the little camera in the rear now. But I'm going to head on out, guys, and
take care, Mitch.
Enjoyed it. Yeah, it was good to see you, and we'll do some more of this. I'm sure we're going to be doing more of this flight simulator stuff because everybody's going to get it, right?
Yeah, but now we're going to see the accessories list.
The only simulator I've got is for radio control flying. I used to use it to teach students.
All right, guys.
Take care,
bye.
Thanks, buddy. Hey, let me know when. Oh, I'll have to call him when he wants to get together and do that at that state park. Yeah, so everybody's going to get the flight simulator, but I don't think I'm going to be able to run it.
Now I want to install my radio control flight simulators more. That's really realistic. Even the little bits of balsa would fly off when you hit the trees. Love that.
Well, if I get it, the one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get just a separate solid state drive, give it and load it strictly on that solid state drive, and it's going to run strictly on that drive only.
There's a trial version on a DJI simulator? What the hell?
Okay.
There goes Jim. He starts searching across the internet again, and he doesn't stick to the subject.
Wow, I'm looking at what Mike's saying. I thought that simulator was free.
I just had this thing on Ultra. I was going to do a share screen, and I was already in the air for some reason, and the screen just went blank. It said, "You just crashed." What? I mean,
you didn't even know you took off.
And you hadn't even
No,
taken
I was already
off.
in the air. In fact, okay, here we go again. I'm right over Titusville.
Can you share screen?
Yeah,
What is the current version of Microsoft? It's not Simulator X, is it?
It's 2020.
2020?
Yep.
Okay.
I got it.
Now
The
this
last
is
one.
Ultra.
The last one.
Let me
the
get out
last
of the
one
cloud.
was what? 1996.
Okay, I see what I'm doing. I'm going way too fast.
250 knots or less when flying below 10,000.
Give me flaps. I gotta get out of these clouds. Y'all got? Is it cloudy there?
Is that what it is? Yeah, it is cloudy. But
anyway, this is Ultra. And let me bring up my task manager. I want to see what I'm killing it at here. I'm just running at 90% now.
You better slow it down, Hot Rod.
I'm trying to get low. Anybody recognize this bridge?
that's the one over to the Cape.
But anyway,
obviously. Yeah, that's Cape Canaveral Hospital right there. Down below you.
There's what this is on Ultra. And I don't see that much difference.
No, I don't either.
I mean, the specs are fine. It's handling it. The clarity is a little bit sharper. The water's more defined.
Yeah.
Go over to the right. Make a right. I want to see if they'll let you see the Space Center. Because you're already in Titusville.
Yeah. NASA.
The passengers are loving Brian about now, 70-degree bank.
How far away is that's only 5 miles from here.
Yeah, there you go.
I didn't know you were that close, Jim.
Yep. Now, when they put up a flight, they put up a 40 nautical mile TFR.
Oh,
which
shit,
is all,
that sucks.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm getting low here because I want to see the definition on this on the foliage and stuff.
Now, this is all that national preserve we were talking about earlier.
You see what
You can
Tomas is
see
saying?
Houston, dude.
You can see the EV building right there. A vehicle assembly building.
Did you see what Tomas said, Jim?
Yeah, if Mitch can run it, I can run it.
Yeah.
That building was actually built for the space shuttle so they could assemble it inside that tall building.
Yep.
And then it moves out on a train track at 1 mile an hour to the shuttle launch pad 39.
I thought that was a Saturn V.
What was that, Ari?
It travels at 1 mile an hour, so they transport it out on the back of a Chevrolet then?
Yeah.
It is a huge tractor, flat pad, obviously, and it just goes 1 mile an hour with police cars all around it, even though it's where it is. You could take tours. They used to have bus tours that would take you right to the landing pad. This is the
launch pad.
No, the media site. No, I don't see the stands. A mile away, there's a media site.
It's telling me I need landing gear. I'm not trying to land. You know, I've never done a highway landing.
Just put a little bit of flaps in it.
Who needs flaps?
Oh my God, you're going to hit the trees. You did.
We
That
so
was
much
fun.
for takeoff. We didn't get to see the rocket take off.
Oh, they wanted you to power loop it too.
I'm burned down on this already today.
6 hours. My God, Brian. That's dedication, brother.
I'll try to knock it down to 4 or 5 tomorrow, maybe.
It's an addiction.
He's going to slowly start weaning himself away from the addiction.
It's like, okay, where can I fly now, and what am I going to fly when I get there?
You know how it goes, right? You know, some is good, more is better, too much, just right.
I am going to shut her down, boys.
All right, Jim.
We have gone way
Thanks,
too
Jim. Sorry, I was
Y'all
late.
take
I
it
was
easy.
setting up the
Jim,
iPad.
Ari, Steve,
Take
Joe
care,
in the
mate.
chat.
Ryan, Ari,
Later.
everybody in chat, have a wonderful night and a great morning. And you have a great day, Ari.
You too, mate. I just finished setting up my new iPad, so now I get to go and play with it.
Uh-oh.
Is that the 5?
No, I've got the Mini 5.
Oh, you got the full iPad?
That's the Pro 12.9 inch, 1 terabyte monstrosity.
Do you fly with that?
No, I plan Lychee missions with that.
Okay.
I had the 11 inch for that, but the screen was just the very bottom of the Lychee program didn't appear. So that got passed to the wife this morning, and I got the 12.9, and my wife's Air goes to my son now. So I'm back up restore.
Do you ever use GS Pro?
No.
Because that's
No,
an Apple only. That's an Apple only program.
Basically, I subscribe to the school of thought: use one and get good at it. And I've got Lychee to the point now where it virtually sings and dances for me, and I'm very familiar with it, so I like to use it.
Okay. Never a problem interface wise?
Never. Okay. It's really nice. I haven't tried it on my smart controller yet, but I have rooted my smart controller, as in not rooted, as in root hacked it. And I've installed all the Google services and Google Play, and I've installed the Google version of Lychee on there, not the Amazon version, because it doesn't get updated as much. So I'll let you know how it goes after I've flown it.
All right, buddy. I'm going to end the stream. I don't care if you guys stay here or not, but I'm ending the YouTube stream. 3 hours is ridiculous. Thank you
Take
for
care, mate.
hanging out, guys.